let me give a quick recap for what went down last week. As you all recall, well, not last week, about 3 weeks ago, we've had a couple weeks off. But as you all recall, you were having yourselves a grand old time, traversing Avernus, finding pieces of puzzles, making it back to Mahadi's. And when you made it there, Crickendolt looked at the party and said, well, you all been training the blade. I've been training music and singing to my chicken all day. Apparently that's what it seemed to be, because it turned into one of the most greatest mosh pit parties Bellamy's had the good fortune of being in. I'm pretty sure while everyone else walks Avernus like this is the worst place ever, Bellamy's had the experience of, this is kind of a vacation.
Yeah, she loves it.
All good seems to be coming her way. Which means she's eating up all the party's karma, watch out. It's not gonna end well. On the note
Jay takes all the negative karma, so it's all good.
He really does. There comes a situation, the party's staring at something like, okay, who's gonna jump the cliff? We'll probably die, but we might win if we jump the cliff. Jade sighs and jumps. You hear a splat. Everyone's like, saw that coming, shit, can we save him? We can still save him. He gets back up, gives a nod, mentions something about playing Connect 4 with death. I might just turn that into a reference to, like Keanu Reeves dying so many times and beating death in all the games with Bill and Ted. But no, that's
Have I shared the meme about the barbarian who keeps dying?
No, throw that one on Discord. We'll get a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
So, on the options of good fortune and bad fortune, the real question that came up for the party is, are you lucky or are you not? As you search through the Avernus wastelands for what has been claimed to be Dusty's swords, you find yourselves going to the only person who appears to have any solid information on it. However, this may not be someone you want to visit, more so someone you have to visit. Just to throw the picture up again, because he's such a pretty guy. The previous Lord of Avernus, Bell. Where we left off last week, I was giving a quick little description of the interior, but the players hadn't actually gotten quite so far. And yeah, you'll have to pardon me for a second. I made the silly mistake. When my system booted up, one thing didn't load and I had to reload everything. And of course I forgot to open up my descriptive webpage of all the good stuff, but that's a quick thing. Regardless, you found yourselves outside of this mighty forge, itself beset in a volcano. Because when you're rumored to be the single greatest forge in the Nine Hells.
Where else would you set up?
Exactly. You need a nice volcano. Oh yeah, that's a good one, John. I gave that a quick little browse. That's nice.
This is more or less what Jade's starting to do.
Should be able to. There we go. Put that one straight in there. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much.
We'll cross out Barbarian right in Jade.
I think it was the line I heard in regards to barbarians, as everyone's discussing their strategies and stuff like that in battle. The barbarian just puts their hands on their hips, looks at the cleric and glares. The cleric looks oddly at them and said, as the barbarian roars, "I paid for 200 HP. I'm using 200 HP."
Health is a resource.
Yeah, it truly is, especially for ones like barbarians.
I'm playing a barbarian in one of my other campaigns, and he has been knocked out a ton of times, and it's really dumb, and it's actually pretty amusing.
So the first thing for this area that I will point out is that Bell's Forge is not only just carved out of a volcanic rock with soaring 50-foot high ceilings throughout, but contains an unbearable heat. With ambient temperatures soar from 130 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, the book always does everything in Fahrenheit. So, 55 Celsius 55 Celsius to about 66 Celsius. Unbearably hot, extreme heat, which has detrimental effects on anyone not acclaimed. Or acclimated. Acclaimed. How much coffee have I not drank this morning? That's like 3 mess-ups in a single sentence.
That's about my level.
And you're a wizard. You're allowed to make those mistakes. Flubbing is what makes your character look fun. When the DM flubs, the world sort of warps around your characters for a second, and it's like, what was that? Someone else is like, deja vu in the Matrix, don't worry about it. So, all of you have drinkable water. As you recall, you bottled tons of it throughout the adventure. I point this out because the core rule is if you don't have access to drinkable water, you got con saves to prevent exhaustion. And if you're wearing medium or heavy armor, or clad in heavy clothing, you have disadvantage on that savings throw. However, thanks to the actions of a certain tabaxi, since all of you have resistance to fire damage, you automatically succeed on these savings throw. And creatures who are naturally adapted to the climates. So even though the heat is blistering and would burn just the touch, you've pretty much got Rhea holding a bottle of water, taking a drink every now and again, like, oh, there's a nice sauna in here. I could hang here for a little bit. Very nice. Probably getting an agreement from the rest of the damn party.
Nimbar does not look happy to be here.
It's stuffy, and it's uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
the one plus for Nimbar is at least you're not going to make those robes sweaty because, well, you've acclimated to the heat.
Yeah.
Jade, meanwhile, is like probably rubbing claws on his chest like this is when it paid off the most.
Yeah, no, Nimbar is not a fan of fire. You haven't
No.
figured out, so he is not happy to be here.
No. Nimbar has very few fire-based spells, if any. His spells that do fire usually do other things.
Yeah, the only reason he has Fireball now is because it was in the book, and it was like, you gotta learn it just in case, but...
It's like, well, it's there, it's free, and it'll take me like 10 minutes. I think, is it something like 2 minutes per level of spell?
6 minutes.
8
6 minutes.
2 minutes per level of spell. So yeah, 6 minutes for the level 3. It's like, oh...
Jeez.
You never know when it. You never know when it may save someone's life.
Nimbar's just sitting on the toilet. He goes, I should multitask. But
Not to mention he has the ability to change the type so he can make it an ice ball or a poison ball instead.
Yeah. Some nasty,
And it
nasty ice
doesn't
balls.
take anything extra to make it a different type.
Wizards. Gotta love them. And I will say, we did, I hashed it out with Jade, and mostly I spent a good weekend reading online for the use magic device feature. As near as I can tell, the only way for Jade to get bonuses to the roll and not have it just be a flat roll is if he was the Arcane Trickster class. And I'm assuming, Dan, you've probably looked up a bunch of things in regards to this too.
Yeah, I was looking at multi-classing into a spellcaster just to get the bonuses.
Yep, the one level of spellcaster would do the job, because then you'd get a spell save for it. But then it's arguable if it's using your wizard spell save or not. But oh, it gets tricky. Because if you take the martial adept or anything so you can cast ritual spells, it only gives you that ability when you cast that spell. Outside of that, it's still your classes. And since you only got the one class, it's only the one. Pain in the bum. But
for the record, Magic Initiative, because Dan and I have been talking about this because it's been an interesting puzzle for us. Magic Initiative doesn't actually give spellcasting ability, does it?
Not that one. Sorry, I was thinking the Ritual Caster one. The Magic Initiate just gives you the little split in. The one that gives you ritual casting from any class will let you let your spell save for that spell be equal to such and such. And if you have the spell on a class list, which you would, you can freely cast it from a scroll anyway, which defeats the purpose of obtaining it for that one spell because you get it for free. I've been trying to find a way for Jade to get a bonus to those rolls, because right now, for everybody's knowledge, if Jade wants to cast a spell from a scroll, he can try, but the DC is equal to 10 plus the scroll's level, and he just has to roll for it. He gets no bonuses. He'd need to roll a 19 to cast the 9th level spell. I lean back, though, and I say, you know what? For him to be able to just cast Wish, a DC 19 with no bonus, that kind of is fair for a class that isn't a spellcaster. Right? Yeah. That was my thoughts. But then, like, DC 13 with no bonus for a fireball. If he's got 3 or 4 of them prepped as scrolls, sure, it'll work great outside of combat. But this seems to be what JC himself came down with. That you get the check for it. But I can't... Besides being an arcane trickster, I can't see any way to get a bonus to that check. If you guys come up with anything, by all means, I am all ears. But all the Google searching I've done basically says Arcane Trickster or no. Because there doesn't seem to be something spliced into the game yet that'll give it to you.
Yeah. Multi-classing
is the only way we found.
Yep, yeah. That's about it. And do you really want to lose that 20th level? You're gonna get it in this campaign.
Yeah, the question becomes, like, if you multi-class, say, into Cleric, right? Then you have a spellcasting ability, and because he's a rogue, he can use magic items. Would he be able to read a wizard spell and use his wisdom modifier? That we're getting, like, everything we fought is asking like 50 more questions.
Yeah, I'd have to look up the exact wordings for all of those abilities and compare how they exactly word, because that's what it comes down to in 5th. Though it's such a simple system, the wording is so specific for many things. That's where they get you. Like, you'll notice the items that Flux has, the 2 blades, they make no mention of any of the superpowers that they're supposed to have or any of that shit. Strictly because I knew if I put them on there, you'd find a way. But, I mean, there's more to it than that. They're obviously depowered. That's half the point. They don't have the power for you to tap into. So I have to be careful with my wordings, because if I don't, then I put an item in the game that you can break the logical usage of, and it becomes something more than what it's supposed to be plot-wise. And high-level campaigns are fun, though. I gotta say, they are fun. You are going.
I don't know what you're talking about. Breaking stuff with stuff we're not supposed to have.
And Jade's like hiding things inside of his friggin' bags of infinite holding at this moment. Like, opens Chompy. Move those Dragon Balls a little bit here.
Yeah. The breaking things that shouldn't be broken, like sending him flying through the forest instead of to the astral plane.
Your wizard's still scratching his beard over that one.
Yes.
Jade still wants to figure that one out.
It's bothering me on a personal level and on a character level. I love it and hate it.
Jade's like, I'm happy I'm still alive, but what the frig happened? Everybody shrugs. So, mechanics, schematics, and semantics aside, as you arrive at Bell's Forge, you will notice that there are many open rivers of lava. And I'm not going to switch to the map that's at the interior of the forge. No, I'm going to use the old theater of the mind for this one. And yes, I do have a map for the interior of the forge, but it's a little more fun to play it out. Though, you know what, I'll copy the basic grid map. I'll throw that one into the chat so you can all see what the interior layout would look like as a reference point. But I'm not putting the pictures up today. Not for this one. No. Having me a little too much for it. Because as you first walk in, and that's area F1, after coming through that large open gateway, you would see a wrought iron spiral staircase descending into a cavernous forge. Channels of bubbling lava wind through the complex, casting fiery light over huge anvils. Chained giants with coal-black skin and fiery orange hair hammer out weapons under the malignant gaze of a pit fiend seated in a flying throne. Throughout the forge, sparks fall like rain. And you can see that there are 4 fire giants in chains using enormous hammers for the reference of a fire giant for the picture. Throw that one up so you can all get a decent glimpse. They are a huge creature, so they are considerably large, and 4 of them, looking quite dangerous. They use hammers and anvils to craft infernal weapons and armor under Bel's watchful eyes. A clutter of giant-sized objects surround each giant's anvil. Iron buckets containing oily water, coils of greasy chain, mounds of iron filings, and more such like that. One of them turns their head to look towards the group of you as they come, before growling somewhat under their breath and looking towards another. "Zrakorn, let the master know. We have visitors." And the other large one on the other side turns back and looks towards him, gives him a bit of a glare and says, "You are here, brother. You could do it. Raska." And he laughs and says, "No, Zarkram. I am the elder. You will do..." The other guy rolls his eyes, goes to turn back in. You see Bel is rubbing his eyes. He just glares at them. Zrakorn nods his head and goes back to swinging his hammer down. Bel, meanwhile, upon his floating stone throne, extends a dangerous hand forward and makes a come-hither motion as the grin upon his face slowly broadens to that of a Cheshire cat. I will point out for the other things in this room, because I'm pretty sure Jade's ADD kicked in. Right? His eyes are going everywhere, looking at everything in this beautiful cavern. You see weapon racks are here as well, containing weapons that are awaiting delivery, probably to the front lines of the Blood War, though, with the odd cosmic situation you all find yourself in at present, the Blood War has been pretty quiet as of late, so there's a bit of a stockpile now of these weapons. Most of them are far too large, however, for small or medium characters to wield effectively. Though I'm pretty sure Flummonoxus is staring up a few of those giant swords and rubbing her chin like, "I think I could do it." There's also a large pool of magma inside this cavern. Steel pylons and gantries keep a huge and terrible new war machine suspended above a pool of the magma. It is considerably still under construction. Not incredibly too far from complete, but requires a fair bit of work still. So then, as Bel has beckoned you forth, do you make your way further in towards him?
I sure do.
Yeah. Seems like seems like why we came here, right?
We have a letter of introduction from Mahadi, I think.
So Bellamy walks right forward, arms ahead, like, "I got this." And Alec following right behind, well, hold on, we have a letter of introduction, and he's like going through his robes, pulling it out. Essentially the sort of mental image I just got.
Yeah.
Which probably means Flux and Rhea are charging right beside the both of you, shields and weapons ready, like, oh crap. You know, the usual sort of marching party.
Meanwhile, Nimbar's just casually walking over.
He's like, I'll let them
rush forward. I'm gonna stay back here and use my magics if I need to.
You know? The usual gnome way with the magics. It's like, I can destroy the world on Tuesday. I have to save spell slots. I love wizards.
Yeah. Let the little kids have their fun. It's fine.
His character's like 350. He can say that. Except, you know, Bel is a lot older than your character.
Yeah, but he's not the kid I'm referring to.
Oh, yeah, definitely. With that, as you all come near, you see the look on Bel's face twitch somewhat as his glance sets down on Bellamy Finch.
It is you again. That is not someone I was expecting to see again across my home, Bellamy Finch. Tell me, what are you all doing here?
As it would appear, Bellamy and Bell may have bumped shoulders at some point in the past.
Hi.
And he has a bit of a sour look on his face because, most likely by the glance, Bellamy might have bested Bell in some form of intellectual combat, perhaps. Actual straight-out war with a monster like Bell doesn't happen very often. He's sneaky and cagey. But I'll let you have some fun with this one for Bellamy. Something to lord over it and to give you that little je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, I bet you weren't expecting to see me again.
No, I certainly was not.
And he looks across the rest of the party.
Though for the lot of thee, I was expecting someday for the group of you to come across my steps. However, I expected it before you annihilator Zariel.
We were a little bit busy at the time for house calls, I'm afraid.
Yes, I could imagine. You could not even come to the former ruler of Avernus and the future ruler of Avernus to pay respect. Yet here you are, talking of letters and bringing,
and he looks towards Bellamy,
her with you. What is this? Speak, foolish mortals who step across the burning flame of my home before I decide your heads would look good upon my wall.
Alec will hand the letter to Comahag and have him fly up and offer the letter.
And your little imp takes the letter and pauses and looks at you and looks at Bell and looks back at you. He goes,
I know I'm actually an owl boss, but wow, this seems like the lowest totem pole giving the message to the boss at the highest. Oh well.
And he just flies over casually. Bell snatches the letter from his hands, looks down at it, looks towards the party with a glare.
He goes, I am still not convinced. You realize, after I read this letter...
And you hear a loud slamming sound. Looking over your shoulders, you'd notice the door you came in back through the stairway and through the top has now closed. As he opens the letter slowly.
Once I'm done, I'll kill you all. The foolish mortals coming into my home.
Rips open the letter, starts pulling it out.
Annoying me with the foolish requests for assistance. I killed the
He pauses as he's reading the letter.
Oh, you have the unicorn dust. Why do you not say so? Gimme.
Well, do you agree to the terms of the trade first, or...?
And he casually crumples the paper between his hands as the grin on his face spread wide.
No, I do not agree to the agreements made by anyone except myself, you see.
And throws the paper.
Mahadi, though audacious in his capacity to control, he does not believe he has a foothold over me. No. This is what I see. I see a group of mortals who have come to me home and have now asked upon me a favor, claiming that Mahadi would be able to reintegrate. However, what you called upon yourselves is owed to me by Mahadi. There is not a single thing I owe in terms for what you carry. As far as I'm concerned, they are now considered stolen property if you are not giving the dust upon to me.
So, just to clarify, you say that Mahadi owes you unicorn dust.
And he gives a slow nod of his head.
Yes, that is the way. Well, I tell you though,
as he brings a hand up and rubs his chin,
I do appreciate that you would be so kind as to be the errand boy and to bring me my dust. And I see now you are seeking assistance for something as crazed and wild as fallen swords of a heroic slayer. To give me my dust, and I will make a deal with you that I promise, as the smile spreads on his face, you will find those swords.
I like kind of glances over at the others.
Nimbar will nod yes.
He says that we'll find them. He doesn't say we'll get to keep them, or that he won't kill us and take them from us once we find them.
Oh, I like this one, he says as he points a finger towards Jade, and you can tell that Bell has exceptional hearing. I really do like this one. He is smart, with the foresight, and he is not wrong.
Well,
Just, I mean, the problem I'm having is that Mahadi gave this dust to us to trade. Didn't say it was Mahadi's dust, said it was our dust. So are we paying off someone's debt for nothing here?
yeah, that kind of doesn't sound right, does it?
It does appear
Mahadi still owes him dust.
Mahadi gave you dust. However, I will say, Jade probably realized this. I think, Jade, you have the highest insight, but I could be wrong on that. It's your perception that's high, so I'm assuming the other side, but I'm probably wrong.
My passive insight's 22.
Yeah, you get the hint with an insight that high. Bell probably would have attacked you by now. Like, when he was opening the letter, he was preparing. He was going to attack you. Mahadi got your foot in the door, but that's about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know I just put like 4 giant monsters and Bell in there. I didn't do that to dissuade you from doing whatever you'd like. That's what's in the book. That's what they give him. They even gave me names for the giants. I was so happy. I was like, yes, they're not nameless. So, in short, Bell is demanding the return of what he sees as rightfully his, the unicorn dust. And in doing so, he has promised that he will make a deal with you, that you'll find the swords.
Can we get more specifics than that?
And that's the thing Damocle's looking at. I'm going to need some more information on the deal. And he says, no, I am very certain this is the best and only deal you will find of this type in Avernus. You think of any other former lords and dread controllers of this plane of existence would dare to rally themselves with humans? Which might offend Flux a little bit, given that you're not human. And that's just the start, because there's a bunch of you who aren't. But to Bell, the humans.
Do we have a single human?
I was gonna say, do we even have any humans in our
Oh,
party?
no.
There's Alec. And Bellamy.
Yeah.
Alec's got half it.
Alex
At least half a human.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like,
Rhea.
Oh, and Ray.
Yeah.
Ray just holds up the
Yeah.
NPC card. Doesn't count.
Humans, that's so retail.
It's true. I play Barbarian, I play Orc. I usually try to give them high intelligence too, just to really throw a wrench in the game. Because when you see a Barbarian say, I believe the most logical course of action in this scenario would be for me to go on my rage, people are surprised.
So, yeah, I see it. We give him the unicorn dust, and we hear out his deal, or we don't, and we fight him, or we hear the deal and we don't like it, and we fight him. So either way, it sounds like we maybe delay it by a little bit by giving the dust.
Or we hear the deal and we like it and we don't have to fight him at all.
And I like your optimism.
yeah, I mean, we can hope. We can hope.
Rhea pats
Nimbar on the shoulder.
Meanwhile, Nimbar is holding his book.
Rhea flips to the fireball page. Nimbar probably flips to a different page, shaking his head. She flips back. He flips forward. This goes back and forth for a little while.
Okay.
It's the only spell she really knows anything about, so you know. She's like, this is a good one.
Particularly useful for our current situation, though.
It could be because you can change the element.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. That's true, but...
Changes it to magma. Oh, great. Oh.
Jade just looking around, which one wall is closest?
So the party has a quick decision to make.
Well...
And you can tell I'm on my game now. I haven't misspoken because I've almost finished my coffee.
It sort of feels like we don't really have a lot of options here, do we?
Okay. Yes. So, do you want to dust yourself, or do you want one of the help to take it?
He just gives a smirk.
Are you giving me the dust? Where is it? Let me see it.
I'll go take out the bag, like hold it in his hand.
It gives a slow smile as you see he extends a hand, makes a clench and lifts 2 fingers up. The bag itself slowly begins to levitate away from your palm. You could most certainly snatch it, even without the skills of Jade. If you do not, however, it's going to float away from you, towards Belle.
We've been here longer than a minute, right?
Oh yeah.
Can I do my know your enemy feature?
Sure, what are you looking to check?
Okay, his constitution score and his armor class.
What is your con? Oh, his con's higher than yours. His armor class, however, is lower than yours. However, that's natural armor, and it's not much lower than yours. You look at him and you think, holy shit, that guy could take a beating, and he's not even wearing armor. What he is wearing is ceremonial. Because I think it tells you higher or lower. Does it tell you exact values?
No.
Yeah, okay. His constitution dwarfs yours, but his armor class is lower. Actually, what is your armor class?
My constitution is 20. He dwarfs my con.
Dwarfs.
Cool.
You can see Flux looking towards Damokos as the bag's floating. Don't try and stun him. The Kanse.
And what's the, you said it lowered AC than hers?
Yes. I mean, most bad guys are going to have lower AC than Flux. She's 22 according to her character sheet in here. Is that accurate?
21.
Yeah.
No, it's 21.
I know this thing always pulls you at 22, so I just override that to 21. And you're at 199 health. Are you kidding me? Rhea's at 99 or 98.
Yeah, I'm 100. I'm 100 more than Rhea.
Yeah, I think you're about
more
double.
than Rhea.
I think you're about double my health too. Yeah, I'm 108.
You make barbarians look squishy.
I mean,
that tough. I'm telling you, the tough feat it really is doing the heavy lifting here. So
when you're a frontliner, health is your money. So, on that note, you do know.
Unofficially, do I feel like we could take him?
Well,
you don't have to tell me that, but like, my Jillian's instinct is no.
You've faced pit fiends,
yeah,
and you've beaten a pit fiend, and this is a pit fiend with power. If anything, Flux is probably staring at him like, okay, when he attacks, I'm going to need to be able to do this, that, and the other thing. She's probably looking at this like, I'd fight him. Because I don't think there's a challenge in the game that Flux at this point would look away from. But this is definitely, just because he's former Lord of Hell, he's got 4 fire giants under control. He's sitting on a floating chair, for God's sakes. The game is literally telling Flux, He's strong and big. So you know.
Okay.
It's a good fight, but by no means is Flux worried. But you knew if you fight this guy, it's like boss battle grade difficulty.
Trust
Survival is not guaranteed.
Yeah,
Trust-
her hand twitches, but she doesn't do anything.
Trust me that Damocles probably has the temptation to start something, but is holding himself back. Because...
What's the DC on your con save for your stun?
Oh, not high enough. Yeah, it's like, where's my DC? Stunning strike 16. So it's not gonna work out for him. But it's not about can he do it. It's about wanting to see if he can do it. Right?
Exactly. And I'm not going to tell you the mechanics on the percentage of whether that are hit or not.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to know for my own information.
Yeah.
Because it's good to compare these things. But most bosses, anything that's strong, that's meant to stand on its own and beat the shit out of players, anything with legendary actions, anything like this guy, you can pretty much be certain that the con save is at least plus 10.
Yeah,
Maybe 15.
Here's what I will say about it. If his con dwarfs mine at 20, and my Constitution saving throw is plus 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a high challenge enemy. Flux is doing mental math. It's like all those calculations are popping up, and she's like, "Do not try and stun him." That's the wraparound. It's always a lot of math for the monk to decide what they're gonna do. But once they know, they can follow that path. Unlike the wizard, where it's a lot of math every round. Every round. Whether it's how many people can I hit on this line, or how big of a ball can I make in this area, or what's the maximum damage to these guys divided out even. I digress. So, as Flux debated it for a second, the bag slowly floats through the air as Bell extends his hands out and grabs onto it, grin spreading even wider on that demonic face, as the large fiend smiles upon you all and says, "Ah, yes, this is a wonderful," opens the bag up, pokes his finger in, touches the smallest bit to his tongue, and nods. "This will be the perfect, for you see, I am working on something. And this is why I wanted to see whether or not I could trust the lot of you. If I say, give me what is rightfully mine, will you be the good heroes and do it out of the kindness of your heart?" At this point, he's holding the bag by the string, spinning it around with his other hand. "Or will you simply attack me and meet your graves today? However, I was fortunate. You listen, and you play along with my rule." And he drops it into his hand, and then sets it aside. "So, perhaps you can all assist me, for it would only be a fool upon these lands who does not know what it are habitually you all are seeking to do. You crazy fool seek to conquer my plane of existence. That makes you my enemy. However," and he leans to the side in his chair a bit, one elbow going on the arm, hand coming up to rub his chin, "I have many the enemy in Avernus, and you all, you may very well be able to assist me in such a way that we can, what is it you motto say, wash each other's backs."
Scratch.
He gives a nod. "This scratching. Yes, I prefer the scratching. At least then I draw blood." Ha ha ha! Audacious mortal correcting the previous turn. Regardless. Regardless, you foolish mortals. I will tell you this much. I plan to poison a few of the other general. At the apex of this, and you see a disgusted look on his face, this fire that we find ourselves quarantined under. I am not a fan of quarantine, my friend. It is a pisser. So, I need your help in obtaining ingredients. And he holds up 3 fingers. 3 rare and powerful ingredients. 1 all I need in order to create this magnificent moment of poison.
In which case I will kill many of the general that stand within our ways. And then after which,
And he gives a slow, dry chuckle.
then we will fight to the death and see who truly shall rule Avernus. And so what say ye? After finding these 3 item for me, I will tell you exactly where those blades are held. You have my word. Whether or not you are capable in obtaining these blades, well, that's not my problem. I don't really give a shit about the holy relics of some audacious fool who attempted to overthrow my plane of existence. He burned as he rightfully deserved. It is you fools who wish to change those stances. So,
As he claps his hands together,
do we have a zeal?
I mean, I'd turning to like the others. It's like, I mean, that sounds like a plan, but I don't know. Like, this isn't really my forte.
As I'm really good at making deals, I think we should do it.
So, you just want us to get the items.
and he gives a nod of his head.
Yes, there's 3 items that I will require.
Will you tell us the 3 items before we cut a deal?
He pauses, tilts his head a little bit to the side, and gives a shrug.
Alright, the first item that I will require is the skull of a lich, but not just any lich, an exceptionally powerful one with
And he brings his hand up towards his face and makes sort of a wiggly feeling with his hands.
with this the really ugly lich. But I will leave the surprise of that to you. I require his skull. I will also require the egg of a sphinx, though such an egg does not hatch. They are made of solid gold and protected by the monster atop a mountain, a mighty mountain. The final item that I will require are very specific bushel of brown bramble that grow within a large forest. However, that is a very difficult one and has not yet bloomed. That will still take.
And he looks towards what appears to be a sundial that he has off towards one side, except with odd runes and carvings, which he turns a little.
Still take a few days yet before it is ready.
And all these can be found on Avernus?
Yes, all of them are found upon this plane. Such a rare, delightful ingredient. I must have them.
Do you have any inclination as to where they might be, or is that part of our problem?
And he gives a nod, and he's like,
Of course I know where the 3 are. However, I will only give you the location of one at a time, for you cannot be trusted, and you must return to me with the goods I seek before I will send you for a Nether. You truly must understand these components are exceedingly rare. I believe you would compare them, as he rubs his chin, to what they refer to as the truffle that you find in the wood with the pigs.
Alec has no concept of how rare truffles are because they just grow in the ground. Really, he doesn't find them.
Poor Alec. It's like, mushrooms? Who cares?
But he uses druidcraft to grow a truffle. That's
Flux's eyes go wide. You can grow truffles? Sorry, I had to make someone a fool.
It grows on the ground, Flux.
Just see dollar signs in Jade's eyes. So Bell has levied a deal with the party that you will need to get for his ideal to poison some of the other generals, which he promises you will see their death. generals that both of you need out of the way should either group seek to win. He has offered you a deal that if you get him some ingredients, he'll tell you where the blades are. 3 ingredients for the exact location of those 2 swords. He makes no mention as to whether or not you'll be able to get them, and in fact implies he doesn't care. But he'll tell you where they are so you can go try.
Will we be allowed to retrieve the swords before our fight with you?
He pauses, tilts his head to the side a little bit, and gives a bit of a shrug.
If you are so brave as to return after you have them, by all means. Otherwise, I'll find you. Most certainly I will find you. Because you will be the stepping stone of my power. And if I can use you to discriminate other forms of power from underneath me, I do not care what trinkets you pick up in Avernus. Make no mistake, I truly believe I will annihilate all of ye.
Since Jade has the capability of using poison, with those ingredients, does he have a chance of finding out what poison he intends to make?
It doesn't make any sense to Jade. These aren't things that mix quite properly for a poison. That's Ganon. I think you're right, Flux. Holy crap. The fire giants are Ganon. Holy crap, that's right out the book, too. Like... That's the official image of a fire giant from D&D Beyond. Right out the books. That's Ganon. Ganon's a fire giant. Oh, help us all.
Okay, petition to change their names from Fire Giant to Ganon. They're no longer Fire Giants, they're just Ganons.
I might just call them dwarfs. D-O-R-F. 4 dwarfs guard the door.
Dwarf?
Dwarf. Short for Ganondorf.
Ganondorf, yeah.
Dwarf. That's a good one.
What if we made a deal that every time we bring back an item, he tells us, like, a clue about where the swords are? And then once we bring back all 3, he can tell us exactly where they are? At least then we're getting something when we bring stuff back.
Or we could get him to forge something for us, since this is a forge.
Ooh, also a good idea.
So instead of wasting for clues when he's just going to tell us where they're at anyways, we could just get him to forge better gear.
Rhea will even take a moment to elbow Flux and point at the, Dusty's blades. Ooh, he could fix those. Though, the intelligence of giving those blades to the former Lord of Hell. I like having Rhea do things like that. Just the instant of, he can fix those. Oh, probably not.
Fix what?
The old swords.
No.
Yeah, I think
Jade's playing dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's...
Yeah.
We don't have anything.
That would happen like 5 times with Jade and Rhea. The old swords. What do you mean the old swords? Dusty's old swords. What do you mean Dusty's old swords? The old 2 swords we have that do the clicky thing. What swords that do the clicky thing? Then
Flux will kind of give her like a little. She'll give her like a little side hug with her arm, but like cover up her mouth when she does it. Kind of give her a little noogie.
It still takes her a moment or 2, but then she clues in like, the Dusty swords. I know Dusty swords. Oh, and on that note from last week, a point of inspiration for Bellamy since she dived into the mosh pit. That was so totally in character. It's like, everyone go talk to the MacGuffin who has your data for the next one. And she's like, my character sees a mosh pit. So that's a point of inspiration for you, Courtney. Before I forget.
Hey.
Not that I'm saying you should be using inspiration right now. It's just, before I forget, I have to point that one out because it was mosh pit. And it's like, yeah, damn right. However, are you bringing the idea to him? Well, maybe you could give us a hint in between each one of the deliveries, right?
Well, I like the idea of
Getting some gear forged?
forging something. Yeah, I think that's a better idea.
He gives his jaw a rub and he goes,
You would request the single greatest capacity and talent I have in return for these favors. Interesting. Well, that depends, mortals. What are you looking to have forged? I am not going to say, sure, I would assist in the forge, and then you drop off adamantine and some hellfire armor forge and a secondary sword, and you're like, will you forge us this +3 blade of Avernus whoosh bam boom womp destruction? I am no fool. I will agree to forge one item for every item you return upon to me. However, you will find a logical limit to what I will offer in my improvement services. Do not expect, he says as he points directly at Rhea, a sword like she carry upon her hip. Such a thing was worth more than all I send you for.
Flux looks confused because she's not wearing the swords on her hip.
No, Rhea.
So she doesn't.
Rhea's Vorpal sword.
Yep, he
Oh,
specifically pointed at Rhea and her Vorpal blade.
Right, I understand. I'm sorry.
No worries. It's usually Flux. Usually they point at Flux and say, like that beast, but this time he points at Rhea and she's like, and me? Oh, thank you. She looks so proud. She's like, I can hit things 3 times now. That gives each player 5% chances to kill things.
Well, I don't need any weapons made. Does anyone?
I don't
need
tend to
something?
use a lot of equipment myself.
Nimbar definitely does not. Thank you.
My mostly my hands do the work.
Last time I used something that was forged. You lost your goddamn minds, so...
Even Rhea was like, that ain't right. It's like the whole team turned to Hank Hill for a second. That boy ain't right.
Armor's just for people who can't get out of the way of attacks.
Rhea looks somewhat offended.
Flux is also offended.
Jade is slightly offended by that because he can get out of the way of attacks and he wears armor.
Best of both worlds.
And honestly, Damokos probably doesn't understand why Jade would even care about the armor because he knows how fast Jade is.
Jade, the only person in the party faster than the monk.
So, I mean, really, if anyone wants anything made, it looks like it's be on the list of Flux, Jade, or Rhea, Bellamy, maybe?
Oh, I have so many weapons.
Flux looks like the
What
Iron
about
Throne from Game
armor?
of Thrones. Just not melted together, just all sticking on her back. Like a peacock. A sword peacock. That's what she is. Oh god, they just fan out behind her ready for battle. She's like, I get this one. Today you die.
Yeah, well, that was a good point. Armor, right? Like, can Flux benefit from better armor right now? Like, I don't know what the armor situation's like, right?
Did Flux have just a base +3?
I have pretty decent armor. I have the dragon script armor. It's a +2.
I have
Sorry,
a
Courtney.
+3 chain shirt. I don't know if there's something better I could ask for.
If you could wear medium armor, you could ask for like half plate, but I don't know if you would make something that was.
I can also wear heavy
3.
armor.
What's your strength score?
Oh, not great.
Because I
Never
mean,
mind.
you can wear heavy armor without meeting the strength requirement. It just slows you down.
Yeah, I was like in my mind, I'm like, oh, like I could get like heavy armor that's better than what I have, and maybe he could make it so like I don't have disadvantage on stealth checks. But
What's your
I don't
dex
know if
like?
that's the thing. My dex,
Yeah.
it's 14.
I will also say, as a point of consideration, where he is quote-unquote probably the greatest forge in Avernus, and I can only think of like one character who'd probably be better. he would be able to as well improve upon items you already own. Whether that's in creating a plus mark or maybe giving it some form of beneficial power-up. Just stuff to consider.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely don't have to make any decisions right now. So, did he specify which item he wants us to collect first?
On that note, he's like,
The first thing I will have you go for will be the skull of the lich. That is definitely the first. It will be one of the longer for me to process.
So, like, we've already killed a lich. So, does it matter? It has to be a specific lich?
It has to be the specific lich. It is because of the species that he is, you see. Very, very,
and you see he has a disgusted look on his face, so he just wiggles his hands a bit in front of himself, like,
not a fan, but just bring me his head. I need this
Flux
skull
kind of-
specifically.
Flux kind of crosses her finger and says, "Do you know the name of this lich?"
he gives a pause, rubs his jaw a little bit. He's like, in all honesty, I do not. I just know where he is. He is pots, and I require the pots, so, you know. It is like asking me, hey, do you know the Rashaka who happens to be at the Wandering Emporium? And I say, of course I do, but you ask me his name? Damned if I know. You all look at the same. And Bellamy's on a quick be right back.
Alright, so I think we've been here long enough. Why don't you tell us where to go?
And he waves a finger at you. You are very clever, but you have not yet agreed to Azil.
Oh, I thought we had. Sorry, my mistake.
Do you,
He's looking right at Flux.
do I have your agreements?
Give me a sec.
Flux is like, damn it. Why you put me on the line? I love doing that to players.
We'll do a little group huddle.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and,
think.
Jade, give me a quick perception check.
Oh no.
With a 29, and I use perception just because. He mentions something in his speech, specifically the Rakshasa at the Wandering Emporium. For those of you who might be curious what those are, I give it to Jade's character because, well, they're like, those are giant tigers, while Jade's tabaxi also is a feline-type race. They often get bundled into a similar grouping, even though they are very separate species. But you can be quite certain you did not ever, one time ever, see a Rakshasa at the Wandering Emporium. Not once.
Didn't we know that Mahadi was a Rakshasa?
Meta knowledge. It's never come up. And the worst is, his mini is a Rakshasa too.
Oh, okay. So sorry for spoiling that for anybody who didn't know already.
We all.
I thought we openly talked about it.
I actually didn't know.
Oh shit! Spoilers.
It's fine. This isn't like a.
I remember.
I feel like this isn't gonna like destroy the campaign or anything for me to know.
I remember really early on.
We mentioned it out loud.
well,
did we not?
We were sitting at the table and we opened boxes of minis, and Dean pulls out Mahadi, and it's a Rakshasa, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I might have known and forgotten.
But I'll never forget the lead out from that, though, when you actually make it to the Wandering Emporium. The guy walks up and he goes, "Hi, I'm Mahadi." The look on Dean's face was like, what? So, fun meta knowledge for the majority of stuff. And a fun little spoiler for you there. Kieran, you got the surprise. That's fun. I like it when players don't know everything.
Kieran.
Oh, it's
I could have sworn we talked about it while we were playing the game.
It is the worst kept secret of Avernus, to be honest.
It really doesn't seem like the kind of thing that's going to be like a huge deal. And honestly, like, if I never found out, I would have found out after I read because after all this is done, I plan to read the actual book through.
Yep.
But I've been holding off just because I knew that like you would be still, even now, you know what I mean, referencing things from it, right? So
God, yeah. Good example is that bronze dragon from the other week. I didn't just throw that in there to be a douche. That's an actual character. That's exactly how she works, and you didn't bump into her the first time. Dusty did. If you recall, he went and got a shave. So that was sort of my way of trying to invite another party member to go, and everyone's like, "You go have a good shave, Dusty. We're gonna go buy stuff." I was like, "Damn."
And the most nervous person in there the entire time was Jade.
Yep. And the dragon would have just come over and been like, "You're a good thief," and kept going, and he's like, "What?"
No, first off, it's a dragon. How do I figure out how to get a hold of its hoard? Two, Jade is currently sitting on the Cult of Tiamat ceremonial items.
Oh, right. I forgot all about those.
Jade was a little nervous in there.
That'd be some old stuff. She'd pull out one of those and look at it and be like, "How did you even get this? You don't even know what this is."
Oh, that's a throwback. We got that back in Baldur's Gate, right?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. And they came and they're like, "You give us back our shit, we're mad." And the party's like, "No, we'll kill you." And the book's like, if they threaten them, let them leave. And the party's like, "Fine, but we're going to get you later." And they never did. He abandoned that
Chose
plot.
the other path.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Robot Sheep at the time.
Oh, yeah. Warforged rolls meta magic. Honest to God, rolls up. You turn into a sheep.
Oh.
And it's like, "Can I turn into a mechanical sheep?" And it's like, "You do now." That's like
Has literally nothing but the amazing flavor.
Yep.
It also messed with Alex, so that was even better.
yeah.
A metal sheep, but it's real, but it's metal. This isn't Beast Wars. What the hell is this? So then, Flux, the question that's posed to the group, which unfortunately Flux has to head since, I did that. Are you going to take him up on his offer?
Well, the only other option is to fight him, and Flux is feeling pretty confident that he would squash her like a tiny little dragonfly. So.
Number votes, yes.
This guy butted heads directly with Zerial numerous times, and though she came out on top, the fights weren't always great. So yeah, it would be a hell of a battle. One-on-one, probably death. The group of you, you're heroes, but, this is endgame shit.
Domicos votes yes, I think largely just because he knows that he'll get his fight later anyways, and this just means we get to have more adventures before we have the fight. So.
I think Bellamy was a yes. Courtney may still be on her phone call, so we'll give her a few regardless.
I think, delaying the fight just gives us a chance to maybe get a little bit more powered up, hopefully.
John's like, 2 more levels.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know many other classes hit such a paradigm shift at level 17, but 2 more levels.
Every 2 levels, the wizard just makes such a difference in the character.
So then, since it seems most everyone is in agreement, unless somebody has a really good strong against it, I'm just going to go ahead with the yes, because it's essentially, he looks at Flux. Do we have an agreement? Flux would be looking back at the rest of the party for a second, like, whoa, wait, I punch things. We talk these things, but every party member's just looking at you, nodding their head, like, "You got this, you do it." So Flummonoxus gets to look him dead in the eyes and say, "Yes."
Fine.
And fine. And the smile just spreads wide on his face. And you hear a clattering and clanging beside yourself. As from smoke and brimstone, you see metal plates fall to the ground beside you, linked by infernal chain. A smile stays on his face, and he says, "Wonderful. There you will find the contract for agreement for the..." Which is written entirely infernal, and is almost a verbatim word for word as spoken. Agreement stating that once you have retrieved and delivered all 3 of the products in any amount of time, Now, I mean, you could abuse that and deliver 2 now and the third one like 5 years from now, but it's probably not going to help you. You can tell that's to defend himself for some reason, but you can deliver them within any volume of time, and on delivery of the third one, immediately, which in quotations is then defined as within 5 minutes from delivery, you will be told the location of the blades. Basically, the contract written in such a way to remove all ambiguity of secondary words. Anytime something along the line of, you will receive this item, is more refined to, you will have then be granted the opportunity to retrieve this item under your own power based on its location and information provided. You're pretty sure when Bell was a human and died and became a fiend, if that's what happened to him, like happens to so many others, he must have been a lawyer.
Did I miss the part where he said why he doesn't want the swords?
They're holy relics. He looked down his nose at them.
Right. Okay.
He's also the single greatest forge, from what he says, and from what you've heard, in Avernus, with the exception of maybe like one other person. And the weapons that he crafts, you can, as you're glancing at them, Flux, I made the joke, your character's like, I could wield that on the way in. But the truth of the matter is, your character probably wishes she could wield one of those weapons, because you see a couple of them are just insane in how incredibly forged they are. You wouldn't doubt there's a couple +3 beastly blades in that pile. In fact, Jade, by now, you will have noticed in that pile, because, you know, your character's the one with the high perception, that, and this would be noticed by the remainder of the party as time went on, that there are... Ouch, sorry, hiccuped. There are a pair of Hellfire Javelins in the pile, along with a Hellfire Greatsword. I think the party has a Hellfire Greatsword, or had, I'm not sure. I'm stretching on knowledge on that one. But these are just things Bell forged. And given right now that the Iron Giant, or the Fire Giants around him are the ones doing most of the forging, they're using techniques he taught them. The easiest way I can describe this one, imagine just being on an episode of MasterChef with 4 of Ramsay's apprentices cooking with you. And then Ramsay steps up to the plate. Whatever he drops in 15 minutes is just going to be awe-inspiring. That's Bell. He's not actively forging, but if he did, it'd be something else. So with that, the plates have landed, and they are a copy of the contract. He invites you to hold on to yours, as he has a second that he himself has made, and makes it very clear his copy is the master copy. Your copy is a duplicate, which will restore itself every day if destroyed, damaged, or otherwise obliterated, and will find Flummonoxus every day if removed from her direct possession.
Can I make a check on the contracts to just make sure he's not... Like, it definitely sounds like he has put very clear wording on it, but, like, check to make sure he didn't word it in such a way that...
Your Arcana check is not going to help you on this one, as this is just, in fact, a strong legal document that's been set out. This would be a raw intelligence roll, unless you can give me a different skill and a reason as to why it would apply. But I can tell you, Arcana, I won't let it apply to these rolls. Strictly because anybody with high intelligence is going to have a fun time with this one. But Arcana, that's spells and scrolls. This is literally, you're looking down and it's... And the third party agrees with the first party. If the third party would be fraudulent in deeds, then they will have to create a reimbursement to the first... Oh my Jesus.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like your regular intelligence was what I was thinking.
Not definitely that your character can't like scorch those to the roof, but you know.
If you let it be known that you're going to have a read over it, Alec will give you a dunt with his stick to give you guidance.
And Nimbar's literally looking up at him. Well, before we agree 100% fully, since we have the contract, I will read it, and as this is a group decision, we'll confirm our acceptance of the contractual agreements as such. And Bell's like, that is acceptable. So you go ahead and give that one a read through. Like, I got 28.
Yeah.
It is impeccably written and very protective of Bell, but not exploitative of the contractee. So, as near as you can tell, it's true to his word. There's nothing in there to loophole it. But he's definitely free of any obligations in any regard if you fail to perform at all on your side of the contract. He literally wipes his hands, it's null and void, and you're in serious trouble. Because it's indicated that he will have free reign to attack you despite the... Oh, shoot, I even said it. The ceasefire. You agree that if you fail on your part of the contract, this is what you discover. You agree that if you fail on your side of the contract, he has free rights to attack you during the ceasefire without cosmic repercussion. Technically, he did say that exactly what he wanted to do is, once you bring me my shit, I'm going to kill you anyway. But this way, at least, all of our targets are dead. You know, we can help each other.
Yeah. I will let the others know what I found.
Hey guys, I gotta go. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez, no worries at all. We're hoping the news isn't too bad. That doesn't sound good.
She's okay right now, but I gotta make a really, really tough decision, so I gotta go.
Definitely, you go.
Enjoy the rest of the game. I'll keep you guys updated.
By all means, it's sad. Sorry to hear. You go.
Thanks. Bye.
Oh, that's no good. I was hoping she wouldn't get bad news on that. That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Oof. Now, hoping that wasn't the case because the call was going a bit long on her there.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, the team has agreed that they're going to be taking him on at face value. I've told you the speculations of the contract. Here's the question before you jump on, because he's literally told you, he's going to be telling you where the next location is, and it's the start of a dungeon. Did you all want to keep playing where it's about 12 o'clock and we've lost Bellamy for the day, or did we want to pause till next week?
I feel like, in fairness to her, it would probably be better to wait. This is kind of it sounds like it's a circumstance beyond her control.
Oh,
right?
Definitely. And she did give us heads up. Yeah. Like, I didn't even know if she'd be on today.
I'd feel bad about I'd feel bad about her missing it because of what's going on. So, I don't know about everybody else, but
I definitely agree with that. But it's also been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, there is that. I'm just.
I'm divided. So whatever everyone else.
Well, that's the reason I'm bringing it to the group.
Yeah. Whatever everyone else thinks, I will go with that. I'm 50-50 at this point.
Because at this point, with agreement, I will say that Bell takes a moment and smiles and says, "Ah, wonderful. The first place you will have to go is not too far from another one you have already been. You remember the crypt of the Hellradders, do you not? Well, there is another crypt very close to there. Unfortunately, I don't know his name. I only know what is within such a place. I would care for the crypt of the Hellradders, as I cannot set foot on such sacred ground. However, within range of there is another crypt leading into the ground. Should you be able to go there, you will find inside of there the lich resting. But upon your approach, it will awaken. So be prepared. It will be a fight. That I can assure you for sure." It looks like you've got another underground crypt coming. Which is very near where the Hell Riders were. Which, at this point's about a day and a half travel. Because it's quite a distance, even though you're in the middle of Avernus. But that's the question, whether or not we want to keep playing. And if you all want, it's 12 o'clock. We could take a quick 5-minute break for you all to think about it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. We'll take a break and then decide.
Well, I say 5
everyone
minutes.
ran at the pros and cons. Yep.
Give her some thought. We'll take a quick 10-minute break, our usual break at this time, because it's on the mid weekend now. Then we'll see what we're doing after that. It also gives, that time jump for the players to travel in your airship. Unless anyone has unfinished business with Bell. The idea is, you leave, he laughs as you go, opens the doors, wishes you good luck, says he can't wait till the day that he kills you all. But until then, he hopes for a very, very profitable partnership. And it's the only time I've used the French accent, because first off, it's an easy one to do, and some people consider it offensive. That's the one reason I don't use it. But I did use it for this guy because He's waiting for his turn to just rule, and I thought that audacious accent worked so well for him.
Yeah, it's good.
I like him, but it's not one you'll see me do often because it's too easy. It's like having a dwarf do a Scottish accent, as we often make reference to.
As long as he doesn't waft his parts in my general direction, we're good.
Ah, but your father was an Amsterer and your mother smelt of the elderberries.
You got that backwards.
I know. I do that to see if you're a true fan.
I have the extended edition sitting at home, which includes 3 of their song and dances done in Lego Men.
Ooh, I should check if that's on 4K
I've seen that before. I love that.
I gotta see if it's in 4K yet, because I like my 4K. I'm blind as frig, but 4K's smooth.
Yeah.
But we will be back then in 10, and we can see how it goes.
How long is the trip, by the way?
A day and a half.
Day and a half. Okay.
Avernus's waste stretches out, and it extrudes these places far away from itself as it can, as it just detests them. Bell is also able to point out on your map and give you a slight description of it, so you can spot it.
Okay. Actually, where it's a day and a half, that actually brings up a point I've been curious about. Normally, Fortuna Scroll is just a pure day's work, so it doesn't really matter. But with this scribe, it's half a day. So I've been curious something. With the does creating a scribe use a spell slot or not?
Oh, I have to give that one a Google. I do not know.
Yeah, because that's actually now weirdly relevant.
I'll take a look into that. It's something, or you can take a peek as well while we're on break. I honestly don't know. I have to go use the washroom, do stuff like that. Get coffee.
Fair enough. All right.
Alrighty, I will be back in 10.
See you in a bit, guys.
See you in a bit.
Okie dokie, I am back. I have to be a bit more careful with this mic. With the gain turned up, it picks up everything now. Yeah, reading that one over, John, I don't see where it says you have to spend a prepared spell slot to make a spell scroll.
Moreover, it says like known. Therefore, I would, if I was the DM, I would rule no.
Yeah, because you just have to have it prepared, or it must be known. Because there are ways to prepare spells you don't know. It's just a nightmare. But
yeah,
if you know it, or it's among spells that you've known, because if you ignore the first part, it is among spells you know. You can scribe the spell. I don't think it costs you
a spell slot.
No, because I was looking into that. Like, I don't think it ever does. Just because normally it's such an involved amount of time.
Yeah, no, like the Order of the Scribe like is the first time I've ever seen it not take a full day, which is why like I had to stop and question it, because I remember in previous editions it used to. Right, 3.5. I do believe it took a spell slot to do it.
Now, can you scribe scrolls during a long rest, though? The wording of a long rest implies you might be able to. 1 second here. Because I'm hoping so, otherwise it becomes prohibitively long, because that's what downtime's for.
Well, the thing is, it doesn't take a day, it takes a work day.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So it takes half a work day. So they include long rest in a work day.
Let me see here.
Yeah, the other thing is we found out why Dean.
Here
Dean
we go. I got it. It was from Xanathar's. Covers this perfectly, actually. A spellcaster, anything that can cast spells, according to Crawford, with proficiency in Arcana, that would be you.
Yeah.
Who provides the material, blah blah blah, can spend 1 day of downtime to create a spell scroll. It does not require them to consume a spell slot. It states that right in Xanathar's. Answers 2 of our questions. So it says it's downtime.
It says right in Xanathar's?
Yeah, the item... Well, at least this is what I'm seeing from reading on a quick quip online. They say it does not require them to consume a spell slot. Or it doesn't mention it, so they assume no.
Yeah, because like this is like the ruling right out of the book, right? That I posted, which is why like that's...
exactly. There's nothing in there that says, hey, you're doing it.
Normally they're very good at saying... Like, it says it will make... You'll need the material cost, you'll need that and the other thing. So it just makes sense that where it doesn't say that, it doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it also that tells me... We were also curious, like, if Dean's character... Like, if Alex could create them, but I don't think he's proficient in Arcana.
Now, here's the thing. Normally, the only reason I was bringing this up is the question becomes, okay, you're on a long rest, I'm going to scribe some scrolls. However, there's a 6-hour period during your long rest where it's assumed most mortal classes sleep, or rest, or turn off. Or, they do nothing. So you're not allowed during that 6-hour period. So essentially, during your one long rest that you take, your character would not be able to use 6 of the 8 hours, even though it's a 6-hour period. But I used 8s for 3/4 of 24. Thirds. Jeez. I use that because it's a little easier, and you can't do anything during those 6 hours. So a long rest is out, but during short rests, I don't see why not. You also get 2 hours out of that 8 hours that you're allowed to do whatever you want. So that could get hand towards it. But 6 hours during your long rest can't be used for your scrolls. But you should still be able to take short rests while scribing scrolls. Let me see here.
Yeah, like it says like a day's downtime. So the way I view that is that would also include the like it would already be saying like not during your long rest, right?
Yeah, it counts as light activity. The long rest prohibits everything on its own wording anyway. You can't. The 6 hour period during the long rest, you do nothing. So you get 2 hours if you take a long rest towards whatever you want to do.
Yeah, the way I see it, a work day is 24 minus 8, 16 hours. So that means my character does it in 8.
Where's the workday rule at?
Oh, here, let me...
I've never heard them refer to anything as a workday in the rulings. Usually they give you a time.
Oh, no, absolutely. I will show you. I still have it open. Let me just... I'm going to screenshot it because it's on a table, and that will...
Jillian will be back on in a minute. Just so you know.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a screenshot showing work... Oh, it says work day.
One day,
oh, it was
days,
work
a
week.
Work week. So it'd be 5 days, 10 days. Because I'm assuming they're giving weekends off with a work week. I've never heard work week, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I thought it was work day.
No worries at all. Yeah, 1 day for time to do a first level spell. So yeah, that's about what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second here.
Because I want to make as many scrolls as I can, but I don't want to... what's it called? Like... be unfair about it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, if I could give up the need for sleep...
I'd have to check on that.
I sound like a college student again.
Because if they say 1 day, that actually relates to 30 hours of straight work, not 24. Because you'd lose 6 hours for rest. You have to sleep, which adds on to the 24 to make 30 hours. So 1 day might be 30 hours. Or do they mean it only takes 18 of the 24 hours? So you have 6 hours for sleep and 18 for not. I'll double check on that. It doesn't really matter, because your character uses actual numerical time configurations. And 2 hours per spell level, isn't it?
No. Mine is half the time.
Oh, half
which
the
is
time.
Why, yeah, which is why this one actually matters.
Okay, yeah. 1 day becomes a half day to describe a first level spell. A work week. 1 second here. Where's that from? Do you know what source?
Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
5 days is a work week, as defined by Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Yeah, like, I know you prefer 5e tools, but...
Oh, I jump on whatever comes up. 5e tools is just really popular. I meant D&D Beyond, but here's 5e tools. That's because I pay them money.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, it makes sense. Like, I'm not...
They reference where they get their stuff on 5e tools, though, so I make good use of that. Let me see here.
I love that website. I will not lie. It's like one of my favorite sites.
There's the Xanthar's reference from On Beyond as well.
Yep.
Yeah, Order of the Scribe, like, everything, like, Xanathar was great until they made Order of the Scribe, which fucked with their math.
Yeah, well, yeah. I do kind of feel like, almost like the Order of the Scribe seems like... I mean, I get that they do give up on some other stuff, but the ability to describe scrolls that fast is so crazy powerful. Because essentially it lets you create extra, like, resource economy for you, like, to be able to bank it up, like, permanently. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's something that other classes can't do.
Again, also, normally, like, you also have to remember, normally cost is a factor into this, too, because I do not reduce the cost of anything. It just so happens, like, we're...
The cost, that's the thing. If it reduced the cost, I definitely would think that it would almost be unreasonable. But the fact that it still costs, like, money to scroll, like, is the big balancing factor. Yeah, it's a cool. I want to make a scribe at some point because it's a really cool subclass.
I've been enjoying it, and like, its other like, to be fair, its other abilities are nice, but they're not like. Up until the scribe, the war mage was my favorite because they were, and like my character was built with that in mind, which is why I have so many concentration.
Yeah,
like all the war mage's abilities are very impactful and you're constantly flipping between them.
Yeah.
The Order of the Scribe, you get your scrolls, you get them at discount, and you can learn spells. That is its bread and butter.
Yeah.
It has a couple other features that are niche useful here and there.
I can. I honestly, I can almost see like it being more powerful at earlier levels where you have less spells per day. Being able to scribe scrolls would mean that you would be able to like get essentially more spell economy out. At higher levels where you have a lot of spell slots, not as useful.
The other thing you have to remember is you don't get the scribe scroll till later.
I thought it was level 2 you got the
No, so level 2...
Oh, I'm misreading. Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm misreading.
Yeah, level 2 you get the ability to copy spells really well. Yeah, I think it's
okay.
like...
I didn't. Then you know what? By that point, I feel like Wizards already got enough economy that it's actually not a huge deal.
Okay, so what I'm going to have to do for the scribe, because I'm looking at it here, and the only thing that logically makes sense, since they're using days and work weeks, this implies that there is a long rest involved in the process of the creation, because otherwise one day becomes 30 hours. 24 hours for the total scribe time. Well, you can't do a straight 24-hour, add 6 hours for sleep is 30. That doesn't make sense. They're saying it'll take you the day. So it would be, in order for you to be able to make this spell, it would take 18 hours out of a day. So that leaves you with 6 hours for sleep. That's how I'm reading this. Because they have to say it that way, otherwise it's stupid. I wouldn't want to take 2 in-game days to do what says 1 in-game day.
We're talking about downtime, right?
Yeah, we're talking about just scrolling spell scribing as per Xanathar's guide. The reason I mentioned this, since your time cuts it in half, that means it would cut in half the real working time, which is where the math gets funky. So, if we look at a cantrip that takes, or a first level spell, takes 1 day, that's 24 hours minus 6 hours for sleep is 18 hours. You divide that in half, you get 9. Add 6 hours on for sleep, makes it 15, if you need it to sleep.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily need to sleep. With a level 1 spell, if you craft it, you'll have nothing left to do in your day except a long rest. So that's your extra 6 hours. So you can see how the math suddenly gets messy when we look at a second level spell, which takes 3 days, which is, 18 hours off the original timer, and then again divide it by 24 to see how many days it's actually going to take you. We'll have to make a chart using that math. It will benefit you greatly to do it that way, and it's a pain, but the scribe makes it easy, so...
The reason... Sorry, if you don't...
No, go ahead.
The reason I was asking is because I believe a workday doesn't refer to, like, a full day minus the long rest. I believe it actually refers to, like, something like an 8-hour period.
Yeah, but workday isn't a term that comes up anywhere at all. It's work week, which represents 5 days. It's saying 1 full day, which is a 24-hour period.
But but my understanding of it is that it's meant to represent because it's in the downtime activities. I can look, but that was just my understanding. Was it wasn't intended to be like every waking minute of the day. It was essentially like the day's work, right? Like because it comes from the rules of like extended downtime periods from Xanathar's, right? But yeah.
It requires some
I might be wrong.
Because...
It just might be something worth like looking into. That's all.
That's what I was saying. It requires some review because of the real spectacularness of it. That the best way I can do is what I've mentioned for the math. The worst way might be lower than that. So we'll see how it goes. But if they're saying a day is 18 hours plus 6 for sleep to go to 1 scroll done, they mean a work day, but they're not clear on that, and it's not really defined well anywhere. But they do define a work week as 5 days. So
you know what we should do? Tweet at Jeremy Crawford.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm sure we're not the only one having this argument.
Oh, and I just throw them up my math. It's like, is a 1 day meant to be 16 hours of work and 8 hours of downtime, or 18 hours of work and 6 hours for the long rest, or is it the full 24 hours and they'll have to spend 30 hours to get it done?
Yeah, I'm
assuming it's the first one, where it's 16 hours. Like Kieran's mentioned, it's probably 8 and 8, and then 8 for your rest. It's probably 16 hours, so you'd cut that in half to 8, which means it would take you you could make 2 per day and still have a long rest, which sort of fits the math. You can double the amount and cut the amount of days in half.
For first levels, which it's just been easy enough to do.
But then I
But,
see a
like-
little thing noting here. It's like, no, it takes the full 18 hours, and it's like, where does it say that? Nowhere. It's I hate wizards.
The thing that I'm like so far I've only been doing first level, so it's been easy. But like with a day and a half, well, now I can do a second level spell.
Yep.
Okay, well, if I do a second level spell, how much time do I have?
Exactly. So I'm going to be looking at it as they split it up into 8-hour chunks. So a day will be 16 hours. They say if they say a work week, that's 5 days at 16 hours. And you just cut that time in half. Essentially, it'll cut your days in half perfectly that way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if we try any other math, it gets really messy.
Yeah, I'm just like, so
we'll go with the easy math. It's basically you can double the number of scrolls in the same period of time. But you might have to count your hours in situations like a day and a half.
Yeah.
So we'll see where these things go, because
I don't think I'm gonna tweet him. I think I saw his email somewhere where he's like, yeah, no, email these questions, because I think I want to put all the math and everything for him to see.
Well, honestly, I'm sure it's been noted somewhere where they say that the day is 16 hours and the other 8 is rest. There's probably some footnote somewhere, and he'll be like, here's what you're looking for. I'll see if I can find that. I can't take the time to search during game time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I can only make rough assessments. And like Kieran said, it's probably the work days. But you don't know if it's 16 or 18 hours, and that's the big kicker. And 18 hours will ruin your math. 16 makes it perfect. So it's probably 16. We keep things simple with 5th. It's probably 16 hours. But I digress. So, now that we've got everyone back, except maybe Jillian, because I accidentally barred my Discord down and it disappeared on me. There we go. Come on, close it.
No, I'm back.
perfect.
You guys were talking, so I didn't want to interrupt you.
Jeez, no worries. It's D&D rules. They can go on for hours. The question of the day. Did we still want to play today?
I was talking to Dean about it. I know Courtney better than anyone, so I think she would be fine with us playing, but out of respect, I think that we should maybe just do light, like, non-consequential stuff, like maybe some role-playing stuff. Dean mentioned dropping some beans. Just kind of do some, like, silly things in group, and then not actually advance the story very much, unless it's, like, purely traveling time. Like maybe we could travel to where the dungeon is and then just have a couple interactions in the meantime.
Yeah, right.
And,
we can finish off the day with that. That way we can get prepped, like we were just doing for John's character. He's getting the math on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could work.
I know, always.
It will mean a short end to today's session. We'll probably be finished around 1, maybe 1:30, but that's okay.
I feel like that's a fair compromise, because I don't think she would really want us to quit, but at the same time it seems kind of insensitive to just
So I'm
barrel
going
on
to
forward. So
for Bellamy's character to give her an excuse to basically be involved but uninvolved, you know, the clever ways of building a character like that. The second she's back on the ship and all things are going, Ray is going to look at her and be like, did you really jump in on that mosh pit and throw a pit fiend against 2 bearded devils and have them high-five you? She goes, I did, and the 2 of them start drinking.
nice. I think they're going to be good friends.
Oh yeah. Crickendalt, meanwhile, as you're all getting back on the ship, getting ready to go, and the fire giant, he's going to wave goodbye as you're leaving. The other one's going to glare at him. He's going to put his hand down and just glare at you all until he sees you're a good distance out, then he waves again.
I thought we left Crickendalt at the traveling.
Oh, right, yes, he's back that way.
Yes.
Sorry, the party's still going on. He was from now on, whenever you see Crickendalt, though, you can be guaranteed he's going to be wearing that Gene Simmons style spiky leather clothes. That's
Incredible.
while you were all training the sword. Oh, you
I found the ruling. It's 8 hours of each day must be spent on the downtime activity for the day to count. So it's an 8-hour period of work is a work day, basically.
Where did you find that?
It's here. I could actually just link the. It's kind of annoying because I had to go from like the Xanathar's one to like the DMG one and then to another part of the DMG, but I found it. It's they did not print it in a way that was clear. Hold on a second. Where's the tab? Here we go. If we placed it, I guess we can place it in general. It says, quote, Between adventures, the DM might ask you what your character is doing during his or her downtime. Periods of downtime can vary in duration, but each downtime activity requires a certain number of days to complete before you get any benefit, and at least 8 hours of each day must be spent on the downtime activity for the day to count. These days do not need to be consecutive. Because I was thinking, like, they had to have defined how the time for downtime works somewhere, right? Like,
Yeah, but where'd you find that? I need a link so I can read it too.
I pasted a link in off-topic general. It's PHP adventuring downtime activities.
Let me just take a look here.
Yeah, I went from Xanathar's to the DMG to the PHP. It's the first paragraph, basically, above crafting.
Let me just take a peek here. One thing I'm pretty much checking at this point is if you can double stack downtimes and do 16 hours for 2 days in one, but I doubt you can.
Yeah, it feels like that at that point you'd be kind of like overworking, right?
Yeah. I mean, but at the same point, like, you may be a little overworking, but you are then taking your... You still could take your long rest with that.
Yeah, I'm just more the point of, like, I don't know, like, if there's any rules on how that would work, right? Like doing, like, 16-hour days.
What if you...
Sorry, go ahead, Kelly.
What if you compromised by rolling con save to see if you get a point of exhaustion after working, like, stacking your work weeks? Because you can be mentally exhausted, right?
Oh, it's tricky, because they keep adding rules to the downtime stuff. I like exhaustion, but that'd be pushing yourself through sleep. Because he's supposed to be able to do, like, crazy piles of stuff really quick. That really breaks the rules, being able to cut it in half, because it says at least 8 hours must be spent to count towards the 1 day requirement. Well, if he only has to do now 4 hours, but he does 12 hours, it's not going to make a difference. It'll still only be 1 day added in 1 day, because that's the max you can get if you're reading the rules in that direction. And I'm going to have to read up on this one for next week. There's lots of little pieces to it. I'll be here for hours. I kind of like Jillian's idea of, hey, maybe some exhaustion, but that'd be if you're pushing through sleep and trying to get too many things done or something. I got a lot of reading to do on that one. That's gonna be funky.
Absolutely. Like, the more, like, I thought it was simple, and then we got into the half day, and I was like, wait a second. And now apparently we just broke everything in half.
Well, it drops to the interesting question is, can you make it less than 1 day requirement? If you have to spend at least 8 hours working on something according to for it to even count. You can't do 4 hours today and 4 hours tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. You have to do at least 8 hours to count towards the requirement. Does this mean 1 day is the minimum requirement? So that if you cut a 1 day in half, it's still 1 day? Your 3 day would become 2 day at that point. And your 4 days would become 2. Odds and evens would go in odd directions. All these little things I gotta read up on. So many small things immediately pop up with that. But I'll look into it. Says it's Spellscribe. Someone else has these questions. They had to. They're very basic to the class. Headache, though. So then.
Yeah. Sorry for the headache.
No worries, bud.
That does become broken because we just did the math, and he did all first level spells based on an 8-hour work week. Took him for the 8-hour work day, and then took him for the rest. Since we're going to take a day and a half to go, he can make 7 first level scrolls in that time.
Yeah.
Based off just math, like that.
Just based off math without taking into account of doubling down and all that stuff.
He still needs. You still need like Wizards Inc., right? Like you still need the actual material to make it. The costs.
Yes, you still have to pay all the costs. It's just half the time to craft.
Yeah, I think that's the big balancing factor, or it's intended to be the big balancing factor. Although I don't think making level 1 scrolls costs all that much, though.
No, it's like 50 gold.
I
had it somewhere here.
Yeah.
I posted it in off topic. Pictures. Yeah. 25 gold.
25 gold, yeah. Because it's half price for consumable, right? From the normal cost of a magic item. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do some really funky things. And then if we could do that, like if we're saying only 8 hours, but we could double up on that, I could get a third in like a day and a half. We really start breaking with shit when we factor in doubling down.
Yeah.
So how many hours, so using the third level spell, how many hours would it take you to do that if you were doing it in 3 days?
So
how many hours are you spending out of those 3 days working?
So it's 1 work week, which was 5 days. We're saying 5 days of downtime is 40 hours. Divide that by 2, that means I have to spend 20 hours on it.
So then I think that you would get a point of exhaustion because you couldn't rest.
Well, no, because it's meant to be done over several days. So then I would have to add on the 8-hour rest time, which means I would spend 28 hours, right? Like it would take me a full 28 hours, which is like a day and a half.
You wouldn't be doing it all at once. Yeah.
Yeah, right? That's...
Yeah, but you're only resting once for 3 days worth of work. Like here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking real world perspective, and I'm not trying to take away your ability. I'm just trying to find a way to make it make sense. So if I'm thinking about real world, if I stay up, if I pull an all-nighter and I'm up for 20 hours straight, technically I can sleep for 8 hours, but I'm still going to be tired the next day. Like even after 8 hours, it's not going to be enough sleep to make up for all the 20 hours straight of working.
No, Jillian. So have you ever worked 16 hours, slept for 8 hours, and then gone back, worked for another 4 on something? Right?
If I ever worked...
So, like, what we're saying is I could work 16 hours, take 8 hours off, come back, do another 4 hours work, and I'd have it done. That is how the math...
From what I'm looking at in the Dungeons & Dragons rules, it appears to lock a day's worth of work to 8 hours. If you don't at least pull 8 hours, you don't get credit for the day's work. So a half day's work might still be locking you at 8-hour minimums. That's the problem I'm having at the moment. I don't think you can also double them up either. There doesn't seem to be anything in the rules that would allow you to, because going over the 8 hours counts towards 1 work day. That's why they say 1 day, which is why Jillian's spot on for a good reason, that if you try to push through sleep and stuff like that, you're going to be exhausted. I will say, I used to work 16-hour days and 8-hour sleeps. It sucks. I can understand why they say you don't get nothing done. It's the worst.
I agree, I'm just, again, at this point, I'm just going based off semantics because technicalities are my life, right? And it's like the other thing is scribing a scroll. You're just writing for 20 hours, right? Yeah, no, it is creating some really interesting things, and I think I'm going to send this over to Jeremy Crawford. Just purely academics at this point, because I agree with you, and I'm fully happy to say, in a day I can get two first level, right? So like literally just.
I don't know if you can get 2 first level in a day. That's the thing, because from what I'm reading in the rules, a day, no matter how it's defined, takes at least 8 hours, and there's no half day. So cutting the time in half would drop it to a minimum of possibly 1 day. It's like rounding up on a dice roll. I'm trying to find something where someone else has done this, but
yeah. Well, I will email Jeremy Crawford today after the game with everything we found, and just see if I can get a response out of him.
Make sure you get a hard number out of him, though.
Show your work, Jeremy.
I've seen some responses where he's just been like, you know, if it takes half the time, he would just go, yeah, it takes half the time.
yep.
Yeah,
So,
no. I'm going to put literally everything we've said into this equation. I'm going to show him my math, and then I'm also going to show him the problems we have, i.e., like the physical, the mental draining ability. While I'm there, I'm also going to ask if it does require a spell slot because the half days. Yeah, no.
Because it's honestly just the first level spells that make the bugger, because they go under a day's worth of work, but...
Well, I mean, the other... Yeah, the first level's under a day's work, but also it makes the second level spells weird because they're a day and a half,
Yep.
so that 12 hours, can I do that all in one day? What happens if I do that all in one day? Right? Like... Congratulations, Wizards. You've made us have 1,000 questions on us. Relatively should be simple questions.
Yeah, one of the criticisms I heard about Tasha's in particular was there's a lot of situations they create or suggest that basically says decide at the table,
Yeah.
which in my mind it's like, well, you need to give people something they're willing to work off, in my opinion.
Yeah, like because like we figured this out with you, and let's say you decide to go, has to be minimum 8 hours. You can only get one done in a day. I will fully respect that. Like, I'm not going to argue with you. But then my other DM goes, "Oh no, you can get 2 done in a day," right? Like you start, and like you're starting to get a lot of here. Like everyone has their own way of doing things.
Yep.
And it gets really confusing for players, because then next time I come with you, let's say for some reason we take 3 weeks off and I've played 3 weeks with my Order of the Scribe with the other one, and I'm making double spells.
That's something I will give. Like 3.5 is like it definitely had like kind of like a content barf of like way too many books, but one advantage of that was a lot of these kinds of things got defined somewhere because everybody had a rule book for everything, right? So there was always like a way you could go, yeah, I'll find this book of this, and you know what I mean? Like 5th edition in its attempts to be less, you know, like voluminous, means that we've not really gotten that same level of coverage, right?
Yeah, and poor Jeremy Crawford has to like do extra work just to try and keep up on these, because he is the go-to person. I don't know anyone else who does his job.
Well, he's the
people-
guy who makes the rules.
Yeah.
People pointing out that it's about time, if you look at it historically, that we might start hearing talk of a 6th edition kind of scares me a little bit. Because, like, I don't know. I saw how badly things went with 4th edition and how people moved away from D&D, and then 5th edition, everything got really, like, a lot of people got into the game and stuff. And it just, like... I'm really comfortable with where D&D is right now, especially with all like the different tools and things that we have, like Beyond. So I'm a little nervous about the idea of starting over again, which is, you know, which wizards may want to do.
I really doubt, because they make a lot of money off D&D, and every single year they've really slowed the release schedule of 5th edition compared to every other one I've ever been through. You get hundreds of people making hundreds of books hundreds of times a month. With this one, we get 2 or 3 new books a year and we pee ourselves. They're going to run a long time this way, I figure.
I find the other thing they're doing for this edition they didn't do for other is the Unearthed Arcana. Like, they are going, this is playtest, try it out, let us know what you think, so we can actually fix it so it's done right.
They have, yes, that is a huge thing with this edition, is they've been trying a lot harder to make everything more, like, relatively balanced and tame. Because, oh my god, by the end of 3.5, there were some absolutely absurd, like, classes and prestige classes and different combinations, and it was way too big for them to keep everything balanced and restrained, because like you had a billion different classes and even more prestige classes to worry about, and then multi-classing could become a thing, and you and I mean, like, it just exploded out where there were some truly like outrageously overpowered things in that edition. Fun edition though. I've been playing, what is it, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which is, if any of you have ever heard of, like, the Pathfinder Kingmaker video game, Wrath of the Righteous is their next game. It's currently in beta. And it's playing Pathfinder, like, stuff again. I'm like, it's weird. It's like, I like some things better than 5th edition with this, and there are other things that I think 5th edition does significantly better, so I'm in a weird state of mind, because I used to be a Pathfinder player before going to 5e, so. That's it.
If we want some distracting chaos, I think Julie said we could always plant a magical bean, see what happens.
Yeah, if you want to throw down a couple beans. God knows they had funny effects last time.
Yeah. Like, there's 2 things that might throw a real wrench in the work. We could make a giant pyramid or a beanstalk, but everything else probably fairly dealable. So when we get back to the airship, we could.
What if we take a day, like, and just chill on the surface, like find a quiet area on our en route to where the lich is, and just kind of hang out. I can do some training with Rhea. We can plant some beans so we don't have to worry about destroying our ship with a pyramid. You know, that sort of thing.
Poor Rhea comes running up to Alec, tears in her eyes. She told me to use the real sword and I rolled 20. You gotta bring her back.
Oh, God.
Oh. Well, that would explain where Rhea gets the extra level, too, because it brings her up to 15 with the rest. Her and Flux just training.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get the perceptive folks to find a good spot for us to park and just hang out for a couple days, or not a couple days, but like for like a day, and like camp on the surface and just feed earwax and hang out.
And that little chicken's more than happy to get a little jump around and be happy. Because, it's a little chicken. It doesn't get out much.
Oh, yeah.
And Dean, I think you said you were going to plant some seeds, hey?
Yeah, I'll start with one and see how it goes. So, let's see. 77. Oh, it's the fruit tree again.
Amazing.
Alright, well, if the tree's grown and we have fruit, Damokos will happily pick one and give it a try.
Yeah, Flux will do the same thing.
Jade will as well.
Bear in mind, one of them is poisoned.
Yeah.
Poison's
No-
not a problem.
Nimbar would be sitting there studying, but if someone brought him a piece of fruit and put it down, he would eat it without realizing.
Is it?
Alrighty, so then, anybody who's eating a fruit, you go ahead and give a roll off of, I think it's a D... Is it... What's the roll for the fruit?
I was just trying to copy and paste the text block in there, but it doesn't seem to work through Foundry, so I will post it in the Discord.
Just
Okay.
What do we got?
So it grows a D10 plus 20 fruit.
Hmm.
At least one of them will be like a magic potion.
23 fruits.
And then I guess you have to determine how many of them are poison, right?
Yep.
Are potions and
How many are not potions?
yes.
Yep. 23 fruits hanging on a tree.
It says one acts as an ingested poison. So does that mean one of the 8 or one of the total 23?
While I think I would guess with the use of while, it's a separate thing from the potions. 1d8 are potions, and 1 out of 23 is poison. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's a good way to look at it.
So do you want us to roll to see which ones, like if we just get a regular fruit or if we get a potion?
Yep. Go ahead and roll a 1d3 whenever you eat one.
Ooh. It's /R. I always forget this, right?
You can also just type /roll as well.
Right. I just always forget where the slash goes, if it goes before or after.
yeah, it's always before. Does anyone bring a Nimbar one?
Oh, Rhea will. She'll walk right over, set one down. Magic fruit. Try not to die.
Ooh, okay, thank you. One, three, two, three, two. Oh, we have 2 ones.
And we'll leave Bellamy where she stands for now. So, Jade, go ahead and roll me a d20. Alrighty. Jade, as you drink back the potion, nothing seems to happen. Has a nice, strange taste. Has a sort of bubbly stickiness like soap without tasting horrible. As for everybody else, as Jade eats his fruit, he's gone. Disappears from view. Alec, as well. Roll me a d20. Alec drinks A potion of storm giant strength. A legendary, exceedingly rare potion. As he chugs it back, you see he hulks up like, you know, the Incredible Hulk. Arms gigantic. And for the next hour, I believe, let me double check the effect of that. Yeah, for the next hour, your strength score becomes 29.
Woohoo!
Flux.
Arm wrestle?
Challenge her
Arm
to an
wrestle.
arm wrestling contest.
Yeah. She's gonna hold on. She's gonna
Everyone's
hold on to her
playing
hammer
there.
with one hand to make sure that her strength is still at 29.
Ground splits in half while the two of them are wrestling, spreading away from the two of them. They're like, no!
Oh boy.
Most interesting thing, though, he eats a fruit, just turns into this giant bug. Ah! Wow, my muscles are looking exceptionally on fleek. It's like, he's still smart, though, damn.
Okay, but for real, can we play out the arm wrestle?
Oh yeah, that's gonna be some strength checks. Athletics, if you have it trained. And it's a contest between the two of you.
Flux
Okay.
rubs her hands together, spits on them, and then grabs a hold of Alec, who's like, has like a wicked grin on her face. Like, let's
However,
go.
first I'll need Damokos and Flux to give me a roll of a d20.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay. I lost my tab for a second there.
Alright, your fruits taste good, you're fine.
Okay, good.
So, 29 strength is how much? Plus-
I'm proficient with athletics. My athletics is plus 14.
Okay, I'm proficient with athletics as well.
So this is like, we are completely matched with this one.
Yeah, I'll need to do like a custom roll because I need to go in and overwrite my D&D Beyond stats. It doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, the game's not a big fan when you tweak around. I might be able to, let me see here. Oh, look at that, I did. And you're already trained in athletics. You go ahead, it should just work fine for you now. You both should be able to do
sweet.
athletics rolls.
How do you want us to do it? Like just
Oh, you
1,
just-
2, 3, roll?
Essentially, yeah. And we do a roll off a couple times. It's not just one to win.
Okay, you let us know. Okay, here's the first roll for Flux.
Skill challenge.
Flux rolls a bloody 33. Alec rolls a 1. So Alec's there.
Oh.
He puts up a hand. He goes, "Oh, you wanna arm wrestle me? I don't know, Flux." And he looks offside. "I think I'm stronger." Flux jumps on the initiative, grabs his hand, says, "No, you ain't." Rips him hard, pushes him halfway there before he regains his composure. Like, "Oh shit, I'm actually strong. I can do this." Second roll.
She'll be like, are you okay?
I don't understand why online tabletops don't like me.
With a 29 and 28, Flux is still winning, the grin on her face probably growing wide. As she lowers your hand down, you can feel your knuckles are only an inch from the stone of the ground. The rest of the party, meanwhile, feels the ground rumbling and shaking as these two elbows dug into the dirt fight hard against each other, causing the very ground to tremble. I mean, after all, it's
feel like-
29 strengths.
I feel like there's gonna be like a crater in the ground after this. We're rolling again, right?
Yep. Can Alec make a comeback with a nat 20?
Oh, buddy.
He digs deep and regains his resolve, and with a nat 20 gets 2 victories. Pulls up on his arm with everything he's got, like, not yet! Brings it up perfectly level, so the two knuckles are straight up once again, the ground rumbling and trembling and shaking beneath the two titans. Another set of athletics checks.
Flux is so proud.
And Alex starts to overtake her. As he pushes her back down on one, she's like, "I'm gonna run out of time on this potion, but I'm not giving up." You all hear clapping, but you don't know where it's coming from, because, Jade, I assume you're clapping. Jade, you are invisible. That was obvious, because you look and you're like, "Oh, everything's fine," but you're gone. I don't know if the rest of the party notices, because usually you are anyway. You are stealth, you are the wind, you are invisible. Alright, we're going to need another roll from Alec and from Flux then, as Alec has now pushed Flux over the middle line and is in the lead. Oh, Flux levels it back up, brings her knuckles straight head to head. Now I'm going to need you both to roll con saves.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's see, was it plus?
Flux is like, "Damn it! I only got 7 on that roll." with an 18.
Oh, how do you click from the saving throw from the Forge character sheet? I'm trying to click on my.
If you click on the name of the
you
stat,
click on the
it'll
word
pop up.
Constitution. It'll then say ability check or saving throw. You click on saving throw.
Okay.
Okay, you both pass your Constitution saving throw and are able to hold on without losing some of that unfathomable strength. As I'm assuming the rest of the party's probably cheering on at this point, except Damikos, who's like, I could have swiped the leg.
Oh, Damikos perfectly understands that he's not going to win in a contest of strength with these guys.
Oh god, no, it's about finesse at that point. So then you both now need to give me athletics followed by con saves again.
It's all about technique with Damikos. He's the kind of guy who would find a way to, like, twist his wrist, right? Like...
Oh, Flux is overtaking by 1. She's pushing the balance, bringing Alex's arm back down. They both ace their con saves, though. They're still going, but the con save's getting harder. As you're noticing the heat in this area makes it hard to breathe, and you're pushing everything you got to try to hold back. But Flux is now in the lead by 1 point. Athletics and con saves again.
Oh no.
Flux pushes onward. She manages to hold Alex's knuckles now just above the dirt, and you can tell it's close. She gets 1 more win. She's gonna pin you. The ground, you've noticed, is now breaking underneath the both of you. There's a small crater as the ground is being pushed downward, trembling, the mountains rumbling. But your con saves for both of you are still just high enough to pass. But Alec, you know you're getting close with that 18. Go ahead. Yep. Give me another set of athletics checks. See if you can pin him, Flux. With a 20 and a 29, Alex rises his knuckles back up.
Oh my gosh.
Bringing the balance back, and he's like, not yet, not yet, not yet. No 20 to save him a second time, but he's coming strong. Now both you give me con saves.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Now both you give me athletics checks, because it doesn't seem like, as sweat's pouring down either of your brows, no level of exhaustion between the group. Alec gets a 24. Ray is cheering, go! Go! As Flux brings the knuckles down closer to the ground. And then give me another pair of con saves. Flux is once again 1 step from victory. And you both pass your con saves with some of the best rolls I've ever seen on con saves. This is sick.
This is amazing.
The two of them just roaring at each other.
Nah, I think I've lost it. I think that's it.
And with a resounding slamming of a thud, which breaks the ground into a miniature crater, going at least 20 feet deep and about 2-3 feet long, Flux just sledgehammers his hand down into the ground, and you feel it rumble. And Ray would even reach over, grab onto Flummonox's hand after she lowers it and rises it up into the air. The
winner! Flux will help Alec up and be like, I am so proud of you. You fought so well. You did amazing. She'll wipe a little tear away.
Smoke and brimstone rising in the distance from all the rocks that have fallen in the nearby hills and mountains and shit. Somewhere nearby, a pit fiend's looking on like, I don't know who's fighting over there, but I'm steering clear.
Yeah.
If for further reference, just go watch the first season of 7 Deadly Sins. When Meliodas and Bon arm wrestled. Something like that. Something like that.
That's a good show.
For the record, that is a great one.
Oh, that was one of the best. And that's kind of what happened here with the 2 super strengths just throwing it back and forth and refusing to roll low. Until the end.
That was wonderful.
My favorite
I
moment.
enjoyed that very much.
I thought Dean was done, and then he rolls a 20. Oh, that was genius.
This is still the first day, right?
Oh, yeah. You're literally just sitting and chilling, like, we need to blow off some steam. Ray is like, good idea, and hits the bottle.
Nimbar will walk over. So as the prize, do you want to get big or do you want to fly? It only seems you get one.
I mean, I can already fly, so I guess. I
No.
could just-
Again, talking to Flux. Flux won.
He's like, no, we not you.
Alright, I missed that bit. I missed it.
Rhea's like patting Alec on the
Flux
shoulder.
will-
Jeez, Flux, you sent him for a loop.
Flux will be like, I would love to fly. That would be great.
Well, then let me activate my fight or fly instinct. Cast fly on you.
Oh, what do you want something up here from me?
No, you win. You should be above the rest.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Domikos is gonna get very excited and go, Flux, do you want to do some aerial sparring with me?
I mean, sure. She'll kind of roll her neck a little bit.
No, but I never get the chance to do this.
And you hear from Rhea, oi! She like floats 3 feet into the air. What the hell? They didn't ask me to do no sparring. That's not. She picks up her liquor. Forget you then. I'm gonna do my own sparring with blackjack and liquor. You know what? Forget the sparring. I don't need no sparring.
Oh boy.
Oh, actually, you know what else I could do? Once she raises into the air, prestidigitation, make little fart. Sparks.
I heard little
Someone
farts.
firing
I was like,
fireworks.
what?
Sparks.
It's like, that's not nice. Fireworks. Oh, that's pretty nice, actually. My mistake. Make little farts appear behind her. This is not Tenacious D.
I mean, theoretically, I could actually kind of do that.
Oh, that'd be nasty.
Oh, jeez.
I like the Flux flying up into the air with fireworks going off all around her and shit.
Yeah.
You hear one exceedingly large kaboom to your side, which actually might make Flux jump a little bit, and maybe even make Nimbar jump a little. Rhea's holding the shield up. Sorry, he wanted to fireball.
Yeah. No. Jump a little bit, but Flux doesn't go back down.
No. She's fine. She's got at least 10 minutes of flight.
Yeah, she
Or
just
1
goes a
hour
little
of
bit
flight.
higher each time.
How long?
I think
is
it's if it's
Yeah,
fly,
10.
it's 10 minutes, isn't it?
10 minutes. Yep.
So she'll kind of look at Domikos and be like, "How do you want to do it?"
I mean, well, I guess,
And
good
as
question.
Damokos is
Go
looking
until-
over,
go.
he's like, even if I went fists, she's got so much health, and she hits so hard right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, go until one of us gives.
But what are the rules? Unarmed strike, weapons. How do you want to do it?
It'd be pretty unfair. I mean, you're strong, but it'd be pretty unfair if you didn't get to use your weapons.
Okay. She'll kind of swing her hammer and be like, "Are you sure about this?"
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously, try not to kill me at all. But a challenge is
I
a
won't.
challenge, and I like a challenge.
Oh god.
It's tempting, and she'll kind of wink, but I won't kill you.
He's fully
Half
aware
health.
of how tough Flux is, right? All right.
Half health. Well, whoever gets to half first.
Sure. Sounds
if you
good.
kill him, that'll give me a chance to try out my new cauldron.
Yeah. All right. I'll. Where's me? I'm gonna roll initiative. I'm gonna make sure I
Just
have to.
roll through. I
I've not
just
had-
rolled through D&D Beyond. I
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh, I
Oh yeah,
included you
I'm
in
gonna
there.
be
I
using Beyond
manually-
too. What is it? Roll Beyond. Roll. All right.
Flux is just sort of standing there like, you sure you want to do this? And Damokos is like, pop. So, however you want to do this on Flux, by all means.
Okay.
She's like floating in front of you, arms spread out wide, holding the hammer. You sure you want to do this? You're like, huh? 19 initiative versus 8. That's sort of what I'm viewing, you know?
Oh yeah.
8.12. There we go.
Oh, I assume we're airborne while this is all happening, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's half the
Okay.
fun.
Oh yeah.
Flux
So-
doesn't get to fly that much. It's
Yeah.
a treat for her.
He's gonna dart into melee, and take a swing with his staff of striking. So normal. Oh, I forgot that Staff of Striking does not like D&D Beyond. So I'll be 1d20 plus 14 to hit. 21 hit?
Yep, that's my armor class.
Alright, I'm going to make things a little spicy. I'm going to use 3 of my charges to deal an extra 3d6 force damage on top of this. So that'll be d8 plus 9, and then... So that's going to be 19 damage. I'm like 0.5% of the way there now.
Just hang on a second. I'm gonna use I have an attack. I have a maneuver. I'm gonna use parry, and I'm gonna reduce that damage. I don't know how that'll wait, no, it rolled a d20. Hang on, I gotta reread it and make sure that I'm doing it right. Damage you with the melee. You can use your reaction to expend 1 superiority dice to reduce the damage. Okay, so I don't know why it rolled a d20. It should have rolled a d10 plus 1. And that's how much the damage reduces by. So I'm reducing that by 5, so that it was 19 total. So then it's going to be 14.
Alright. Parry the staff away, but I'm not done yet. Actually, while we're at it, you know what? Part of him be a little worried about like the potential of like stunning you out of the sky, but he knows how tough you are, and he also knows he can't pull any punches, so he is going to make you roll a DC 16 con save. With a stunning strike. Alright, figured, but you know, it's worth the shot. Like I said, I can't exactly hold back when Flux is able to do as much damage as she can. I'm going to make a second swing with the staff.
This does ask a very interesting question, since neither of you stated just how high up you were.
Yes!
I'm going to say you're flying at about 150 feet.
Oh,
God.
No, Flux didn't go that high. Absolutely
Okay.
didn't.
50 feet up then. A good little
50
distance.
feet up sounds good.
Keep
I
that
can
in
go with
mind,
that.
because if you manage to tag either of each other in such a way that you fall prone, Damokos, you fall, Flux does not.
Oh, because she has, what's it called? Does she have hovering?
I believe hover comes with the fly spell, right?
Yeah. I do have if I have my reaction, though, I can reduce the damage at least from the fall.
It says
Let me
when the
double check.
spell ends, the target falls if it is still aloft unless it can stop the fall.
I gotta double check. No, it might just be a fly speed if that's the case.
Yeah, it gains a flying speed of 60 feet.
So
That being said, Nimbar is sitting there on the ground just waiting.
yeah.
He may or may not have reactions if one falls.
I don't see anything for a haste in here, so... Or a hover in here. So yeah, you'd both fall if either gets knocked prone or stunned or etc.
Alright, I'm gonna... What is it? I rolled a... what is it called? A 23, I assume that hit, right? Because 21 was...
Yep, my armor class is 21.
Yeah. Just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything else you could do to... So another 15 on you.
Sure.
Alright, And now with my bonus action, here's the question. What do I do? Because I've got a couple of options. The flurry is very tempting, and it also feels like something he'd try, but the pain to immediately follow is slightly concerning.
So Damokos rushes in, gives 2 solid shots. One to Flux's jaw, another one right to her shoulder. Flux, thus far, because if you hover over her character, appears uninjured as the knuckles connect.
I'm going to spend my point of what is it? Dodge action. Sorry, because my brain filtered that out of it. Is attacks made against me have disadvantage, right? That's the... Yeah. I'm going to spend my point of key to take the to use patient defense. And I'm going to back up, but I'm going to back up, like, what's your fly speed at?
I'm going to guess 60, but I didn't get the stat block for fly, so I'm not sure.
60.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up 60 feet. I can technically go further, but I'm going to get back up 60 feet so you can still reach me, and I'm just gonna kind of beckon at you to come, come at me as I put up my hands to defend, right? And that'll be my turn.
Flux will be like, "Why did you challenge me to a sparring fight if you're just gonna run away?" And she'll throw her hammer at you.
Oh!
I will point out that when you take the dodge action, until the start of your next turn, any attack roll made against you has a disadvantage if you can see the attacker. So, Flux, if you can find some way to blind him to you, he won't get that advantage anymore.
Yes.
I don't think I can. Just 1 second. Before I throw my hammer, let me just make sure. I don't think it comes back to me, so it might be reckless for me to throw it if it means that it's going to fall to the ground afterwards. And Flux, I think, would know enough to know.
Oh, yeah.
If that's what would happen. So you can expend 1 charge to make a ranged weapon attack with the hammer, hurling it if it had the thrown property with a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60. The attack hits, the hammer unleashes a thunderclap. Target and every creature within 30 feet of it must succeed on a 17 or be stunned until the end of your next turn. So Alan, give me an idea, because I think Flux would know this. If I were to throw the hammer and expend a charge, would I have enough time to get close enough to catch it with the fly spell, or would we be getting into a dex save and stuff to try to catch it?
1 second here.
I can post. Do you want me to display it if you want to look it up for yourself?
Oh, I'm already pulling up. I'm just making sure that it doesn't
Okay.
return. We said you're 50 feet up and you have a fly speed of 60. Technically, if you throw the hammer, after it strikes him, it's going to immediately fall to the ground because it doesn't have returning as a property. And that's a 50-foot drop. You wouldn't be able to get it with the flight just because there's no real rule to cover that. It would take an action if you wanted to do something crazy like try to catch it. However, what you could do, and it's a bit more suicidal, if you can take 4d6 points of damage for the fall, you could cut your flight, drop to the ground, sledgehammer, grab your hammer, and fly right back up at him and hit him. That could work.
No, I don't think I'll do that. I'll just keep it. I won't throw it.
Aww. I want you to throw it, though.
Yeah, well, it's gonna fall to the ground, and then I won't have a weapon, so I'm not going to do that.
Do you have another cool weapon you could throw at me?
Oh, because you have deflect missiles.
Yeah,
She'll fly up and just hit him 3 times with the hammer. I can get to him, so.
I was waiting for it because I was going to say, oh, if she throws this at me, this could turn really funny really quickly.
Unless the damage is really high on the single hit.
Oh, yeah. That's always an option.
So then.
Would maybe also stun you as well.
So first hit, second doesn't hit. And third hits. Those are some... Jeez.
No, good.
I mean,
it automatically does the reroll now.
If ever there was a time to action surge.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to pull a maneuver out of my butt first. Don't worry. I got it.
So Flux just flies in and literally rings his bell with 2 massive hits. You managed to dodge under the third one, but those hammers, well, they tag pretty hard for each hit. 20 and 18 points.
I'm gonna use disarming attack. So Kieran, if you want to roll a strength saving throw, for DC 22 to see if you hold on to your staff.
Oh wait, I have a feature that might come into play here. Or do I have that feature yet? I'm gonna spend a key point to re-roll that using my what's it called, Diamond Soul, because that was bad. Well, unfortunately, no. What was the DC?
22.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna lose that staff then.
Yep. And then she'll action surge and hit you 3 more times.
All right, let's see how this goes.
You hear a rattling sound as she just lifts the hammer up, catching the staff, goes, and it flies through the air, clatters on
She'll
the
say,
ground.
heads up below, because she's knocking it to the ground. That's what the plan was. Just make sure I marked off that superiority dice. Yes. I'm just going to make sure I mark off my action surge. Yes. Okay, and now 3 more attacks.
Miss.
Just misses with a 20.
Miss.
Ooh, natural 1.
My AC's 21, yeah. Oh, hit.
Yep. 21 points of bludgeoning damage as the third swing of the hammer connects straight on to your character's face. And I do believe that does make the exact number that you agreed to for this fight.
Oh, I have to roll, just 1 second. I have to roll a d10 to add to the damage when I disarmed him. So plus 9 more damage. And let me see if I add anything to that. Sorry, I had it a second ago and then I lost it. When you hit with a weapon attack, you can spend 1 superiority dice to add it to damage and disarm the target if it fails the saving throw. Okay, so yeah, it's just the straight D10, I believe.
Man, well, technically, yeah, I am bloodied now, so Damokos is gonna like kind of pause for a moment because he like seriously is considering trying to push his luck here, but he'll stop and he'll kind of give like a short bow and like, you know, oh, that was exciting. Thank you.
No worries.
I'd love to do this. I'd love to do this again sometime after I've gotten a little bit more training under my belt.
Flux spins the hammer around. No.
Nimbar will again make more sparks fly around.
He flies in. Let's see what you can do. Bops Flux a few times in the faces. Get some good hits on her. She just picks up the hammer. And Damokos sees why enemies hate her. You can still hear the ringing in your ears. That hammer hits for wowza, and she's got double your health. So you know.
So something Damokos is going to do is he'll take a moment and just kind of like focus himself, and almost all of the injuries you've inflicted on him will just suddenly like just seal themselves as he uses wholeness of body to heal himself for 45 damage.
Does it let you use any number of key or 1 point of key at a time?
Wholeness of body is just a once per long rest ability. It's different than the other healing ability. This is I believe it's an open hand feature. I can heal 45 hit points as an action once per long rest, basically. And it grows with my level.
That looked like it did some damage.
Keep in mind, as much as I love the thematics, that'd be at the end of a long rest. That your character would just be fully regenerated by that point in time. Because you have to finish a long rest before you can use the feature. So the idea is if you're using it as part of a long rest, just be careful with that one.
No, I haven't used it yet today.
Yep, because that's the only thing. Because you can use it now and just bam, regenerate. Similar to how, you know, like the second wind that you see Flux use or Rhea use.
It's so funny you should say that, because I was just going to say, actually, Flux will be like, oh, hey, I could do that too. And that's a D10, so that's 8 plus 15. So that is going to be 8 plus 15. Somebody help me. 23?
Yeah.
That pretty much all of her wounds close, as well as she is 6 points away from her max health.
She's like, you see here, look, I can do that. See the bruise you left on my cheek? Whoop, it disappears. Really handy feature. And your character is like, how did I only... Right, I'm strike and dive tactics, and she's the tank. Oh. Admittedly, you did some good damage to her, but when you're sitting on 200 health,
She'll hold her hand out and shake his hand.
Oh yeah, he'll definitely, and he'll take it and he'll give it a shake. Like, he knew he wasn't gonna win, but he wanted the experience, right?
Oh yeah, your best chance was what you did. You tried to stun her at the start. If you got that in, you might have held it.
And he'll say, you know, you would probably be. I mean, you're scary now, but you'd probably be pretty scary if you learned some martial arts.
Flux
wiping blood
pulls
off
him
the
in,
hammer.
and she first, before she does that, she says to Demiko, she's like, I think I'm pretty good, and she'll pull him in. She'll kind of do that thing where she grips you like right below the elbow, and she pulls him in, and says, you know, you might think that I don't need this armor, but perhaps armor indicates that I'm willing to stand and stay for a fight, not flee from it. And she'll let go of him and fly back down to the ground.
Oh, trust me, I do appreciate
She's
it.
already gone.
Ray
He'll
just
land and
walks
pick
over,
up
high
his,
fives
pick up his
Flux.
staff. Staff kind of dusted off a little bit.
No, no, you don't. You fly down to where
Yeah?
your staff landed. It's not there.
No?
It's gone.
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 Okay, that's a problem.
Yup, clear as day. It's gone. Not anywhere
Flux will
to
help
be
you
seen.
look for it.
I'll turn up, guys. Don't worry.
Alright, can I roll perception to look around for it?
Yeah, sure.
I think I know where it is.
Nope. Searching through the rocks and the stones and the rubble and everything and just scanning around, you're like, where the hell did my staff go? It was landed right here. You can see an indent on the ground for where the staff was, with a perception of 23. Like, it landed here. I know it did. This is how long it is. This is its spot. Where did my staff go? But, sadly, as you search, you cannot find it anywhere.
Flux will toss him another fruit from the tree and be like, "Hey, you want another one of these?
Yeah,
You
might
can
as
get
well.
a potion too."
He'll eat it and consider, presumably Jade has it. It's the only logical explanation, unless there's something else here and we should have been aware of.
Damako's walking over the tree, taking a fruit down. God damn it, Jade. Give me back my staff. Ow.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and roll me a d3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Flux rolled one too, so Flux is having another. Flux, go ahead and roll me a d20. She's like pulling one off the tree. Here, you should try one of these too. You can have a potion as well. Watch. Because I think it's pretty obvious if you roll a 3.
I mean, Nivar's been up watching the festivities, so you know what? Mage hand. I'm gonna take another fruit too.
Alright, so you go ahead and roll another d3 then. Ah, so you did as well. Alright. Perfect, and with that 16, you're fine.
With
So,
the 2, do I need to roll anything, or?
nah, you got to. You got nothing. It's just fruit. Sorry, man.
No problem.
A really tasty fruit, but as you drink the fluid Flux, for your enemies, it would be hell. Can you roll me a d4, Flux?
Uh-oh.
So for the next hour, Flux is enlarged, her size doubling in all dimensions, and weight multiplied by 8. She goes from medium to large.
And I can fly too
Yeah.
for another couple minutes.
You know what?
I'm like, who wants a ride?
Flux, at this point, you're just kind of effectively a dragon. You can breathe lightning, you can fly, you're big.
Just bam, giant Flux. I set it to scale you to double, so you still only take up 1 space. That way it's easier to move you
Nimber-
around and have fun.
Nivar walks over, doesn't even reach her like knee.
Pretty much.
Oh, I assume Jade gave my staff back after.
You've probably assumed wrong.
Well, I think
You
it's
have
up
to
to
find
Jade.
him first.
Yeah. Flux will just use her height to pick the rest of the berries off the tree and stick them in a sack somewhere for later. She'll kind of like hunch over and be like, "Alec, do you want to try your luck at another one?"
Alec is furiously working out while he's got an insane strength score. He's doing like crazy Goku style upside down finger push-ups or whatever.
Doing one finger zen. He goes, "Oh yeah! Oh look at me! I'm so damn good! Yeah!"
Flux will be like, "I'll just
middle
follow
of
you
what
around then."
it gives out.
This is where Rhea becomes a little offended at this point, and she walks over and pops a knuckle, tilts her head to the side, grabs a fruit, eats it right off the tree. Oh, she got a 3.
Uh-oh.
I mean, don't forget, I rolled a 16 on my potion.
Yeah, you're fine on that. Oh, for what you got, though. Shoot, I'm sorry. I
yeah.
skipped you. That's not very nice of me at all. Sorry, you drank and got a potion of heroism. And I know that's a little bit less, but your character's like glowing with pride. You gain 10 temporary hit points for 1 hour, and you are under the effects of the Bless spell for 1 hour.
So I'm So beside the giant dragon, there is the little halfling, or the little gnome, not even coming up to the knee, just glowing.
Yep. And Rhea, she chugs her potion and walks over to Alex. She goes, "All right, buddy, you and me right now, we're gonna have ourselves a photo. How'd you get so damn big?" As she drinks a potion of diminution, which puts the reduce effect on her, making her small.
Oh dear.
Oh my god! Wait, how small does she get?
1 size category smaller, so she's now a small creature instead of a medium creature. So I'll just
But
pop.
what's her height? Is Nimbar no longer the small?
She's diminutive, so it would be risky. She's about 5... I think I made her about 5'8", 5'10". I wanted her to be relatively tall, but not tall. So she'd now be looking at about 4'5", 3'6". No, 2'6".
Oh my god, Nimbar's no longer the smallest.
She'd be about 3 foot, if that. Because they cut her height in half, so she'd be about 2'10", I believe. Because it's in base 12 for the increase. I'm not good with the Imperial system. I like my millimeters.
Nimbar will just walk over and look down at her. Hi! He never gets a chance. He has to.
Poor
Flux.
Rhea. She's
Flux
still...
will freeze when she sees her shrink and be like, "I don't want to step on you."
Rhea looks
Stepping
up.
on me's fine, but not on her.
I could lift
Careful
you.
now.
I'm sure of it still. I'm very strong. And she looks down like, "I'll take you on." And she goes into the arm wrestle position. Come on.
Who is she challenging?
Rhea's challenging
Sure.
Alec out. Come on. Rhea automatically has disadvantage on strength save while she's reduced. But with her natural 20, she makes the first roll on an athletics check. Oh, wait, let me double check here. Strength checks. Yeah, that's a strength check, so that's at disadvantage. She got 14 on her first roll. She's like, "Come on." She's down 1. The whole party's kind of looking on like, "Rhea, you can't." She's like, "No. I'm gonna win this." And she starts to pull back into the middle.
Jesus.
Unbelievably balancing out the strength. Can she beat the odds?
Flux will be like, "This will be really
Oh,
embarrassing for you if you lose, Alec."
That's supposed to be, she has disadvantage. So she fails, she loses another point off again. So let's give her another athletics check. A 13 at disadvantage. Knuckles aren't far from the ground now. She's sweating hard. 16. Alex probably feeling guilty in a second here.
Unless you roll a 1, you've won. Yeah.
Boom. Rhea folds her arm. She goes, "I hate the universe," and just walks away.
Oh.
Alec is really relieved that went his way.
She walks over, picks up her bottle. She goes, "Oh, this thing's triple size now. This is okay. It's all good." Goes back to drinking.
Please don't drown in that.
I might just.
Flux will lift her up on her head and be like, "Here, you could be tall too."
She sits there. "I'm queen of the world." Takes another good drink. Holy shit! When you're really
Should take
small
her
and
on-
up this tall, it's crazy.
Should take her on a flight before the spell wears off.
So
He's like, "I can fly." 30.
Here's some real talk, guys. Do you want to wait an hour and plant another bean?
Oh, we could.
I mean, I want to.
You've all gotten kind of
Personally.
lucky. Because one of those beans are still poison on that tree.
Okay.
I feel
Right,
bad for
so
Nimbar.
what-
He's like, I got the heroic potion. I can't do much funny with the heroic potion.
You will notice that during that hour, like Damokos is doing some practice to himself, and Flux will probably notice that he's actually like miming out like the moves you used on him and trying to think of like how he could have dealt with them.
Which involves him making a swing with his arms and going "durr" with his head at the same time, like, okay, hammer, ooh, hammer, ooh, okay, I can practice this and dodge this. Flux off to the side, like, no, you can't, ha ha ha.
But like, you know, like, well, if you've watched like Dragon Ball Z, like the mental simulations they do of like opponents and things, right? Like he's now having fought her, he's now using that to try and figure out, like, is this possible? Can I like do something?
Actually, on
Can
that
I get
front
myself another minute? Like,
one hat tip I had to give Dragon Ball Super when Goku made it to Baba's place. He goes into the arena and just does some training on martial arts and looks happy and leaves. But if you know the series, way back in Dragon Ball, the moves and the actions he performed is an exact mirror of the fight with Grandpa Gohan. Sort of the same reference you're making here. The little bit of, okay, that's how that works. Okay, I'll be ready for that. The little bit of trainings. So your character's chilling around like that, and it's at that point you notice Bellamy's literally floating along above the group, waving at the lot of you, just about a foot higher than all of you, as she is because I made this one for her, a gaseous form. Floating along, looking calm as a cucumber, having a great day.
Jade has had spun, so he will drop the staff, while still invisible, walk over, grab Nimbar, and cast Dimension Door. We're now sitting on top of Flux's head.
Oh, hey guys! You want to see how fast I can run? Whoom.
With the no, only Jade would be invisible. Yeah, okay. I was gonna say because otherwise, Flux would be like, "Damn, Rhea, you got heavy."
Actually, you know what? You know what? Nimbar just appeared, weighing the amount that Nimbar plus Flux plus Jade weighs. She wouldn't realize Jade's on her as well, so Flux would now be convinced that Nimbar just weighs incredibly, like more than twice as much as he should.
oh hey, my staff! I'm just gonna pick up my staff and like clean it off because it's probably unless Jade took the time to clean it, it's probably got some dirt and things on it from the fall.
Oof. Just slowly wiping it off, like, haha, real funny, guys. Real funny. I'm gonna smack someone with this and you're gonna regret it.
It does smack pretty hard for a monk weapon, so it's...
Oh, yeah. It's a great little strong monk weapon. Quarterstaff's the way to go until your level's high enough that you finally surpass it. Which is soon.
It's basically... Yeah, it's basically the biggest point for me is going to be level 17, because not only do I get that D10, but I also get the thing that essentially has been his whole mission coming here, which is Quivering Palm. Yep. And at that point, I actually do have a reasonably realistic chance of being able to win against Flux, because I just need her to fail a con save once to win the fight, right?
Then the Quivering Palm kicks in. She uses... Doesn't she have Indomitable, though, so...
Actually, yeah, she might... I'm thinking about it, she might just be tough enough to withstand it anyways.
You'd do it, and Flux would be like, that hurt. You'd be like, shit!
You get to reroll.
Yeah. Yeah, that reroll will make all the difference when her con save, at that point, will be like plus 14. Like... Quivering Palm has the potential to be so goofy, though, because even when it fails, it's a 10d10, right? Like, you gotta remember, the monk is built to kill spellcasters.
Yeah.
The antithesis to the capacity of a monk's killing capacity is an armored fighter. Like, they're exactly what you're not meant to fight on the battlefield. You run up and you punch them in the chest, and they're like, oh, are you polishing my armor? And it's like, that's not what I did.
But her being that antithesis is exactly why he was interested in fighting her, because he's the kind of guy who believes in like learning and improving through adversity, right? So,
and we all know why you don't train with Rhea. She'd take your head off.
No, there's that. Although I'm gonna be honest, I think he does kind of feel like he doesn't think he can beat Flux, but he does feel like as long as he can avoid that sword, he could probably beat Rhea. So
no, and knowing the luck of Avernus, Whoever be rolling for for Rhea, she'd come in and the first attack would be a 20.
Yeah, head goes flying off.
And she'd be like, oh no, what have I done? Quick, Alec, save him.
Put it back on.
And Death would just be chilling there like, what are you doing here? You're not Jade. I say that because Jade's unkillable. Like, he goes and he comes back over and over.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, Flux hits for a guaranteed 10. That's nuts. For unarmed strike damage. Because that's your base. It's your strength mod +1, so, like...
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Timber
didn't
hits
need
for
to roll
0.
that. I was just curious. I didn't think... I was pretty sure it was just 10. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Flux is like, I'm so big. How much damage did my fist do? Punches a little crater.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Nimbar does 0 damage on an unarmed strike.
Yeah. I'm currently D8 +8, but I can get a... but it'll go up to, like, level 17 will go up to the D10.
Yep. At which point, you'll probably start getting gear that just boosts pluses to your natural unarmed strike, so you don't have to use quarterstaffs and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Focus more on the I can naturally kick ass power. But I think this be a pretty good spot to let it go for the day, with the group goofing around having a good time before continuing on to the Crypt of Hell.
I have a question, though.
Yo.
Since Gryffindor is doing the whole I'm wearing that costume from the concert, what do you do with the magical gear we had him hold?
It would still technically be equipped. You're talking cosmetics is what he's basically wearing at the moment.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. You know, Jade's saying, keep track of all the magic.
Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just pulling all the characters in now. I'm going to switch the map over so you can see the first scene of the next spot. I'm just putting in the characters at the moment. There we go. And just in case, I'm going to reset the Fog of War. Because the last thing I want is for you all to see everything when you should only see a little bit. There we are. What you would see after flying through Avernus for a little while. Indeed, the Crypt of the Hell Riders, and there's a few other ones. Though you soon find a pair of matching archways that match up with the descriptions as given to you by Bell. A long set of stairs slowly descend down into a cavernous opening, where the smell of mildew emanates from the floor. So this is the preview for next week's game as you step into another dungeon. Don't worry. Like I said, you won't see very many more mega dungeons, just that first one you went through. But it is called Dungeons & Dragons, and I gotta put you through your paces as we go, so...
Hey, I like dungeons.
Yeah, no, nothing's wrong with dungeons.
I do too.
You're all saying as you're marching in, Rhea looks back at the lot of you like, the what?
Should I do... Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yeah.
Should we click long rest?
Yes, you can most certainly give all of yourselves a long rest.
Alright.
And I'm not sure yet if the minimum amount of time for your spells for Nimbar is 1 day, or if we can do those half days and bounce them together. The rules seem to say, it almost seems like a day's the minimum. And you have to put in 8 hours for it to count as a day. So I don't know how it would work for 4 hours. So you let me know if Crawford gets back in touch with you on that one.
Yeah.
Because it'd be nice if he just says, you can do 2 a day. And then it's like, okay, so it's 4 hours.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But that's...
Yeah, the problem is, now I have to figure out how to put that all in writing, send it off.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I if I'm going to send it to him, I'm going to try and have all the relevant data for him at once. Because how long did it take all the 3 of us to find the answers? That didn't end up working out.
You just cross-reference
all of us, and we still don't have the answer.
Yeah.
We have a sort of answer, and I have places I have to read. But doing it now would take like an hour or 2, and I don't want to ruin the game time, right? But we'll figure it out. It's math. It's the wizard class. It's always a pain. I like Flux's class, the fighter. It's like, you give me a big sword, DM. Okay. And you give me some magical power for my strength, DM. Okay. Now I'm going to go kill everything. Watch. Okay. The wizard shows up. I'm going to give myself strength, DM. Okay. And then I'm going to take the fighter's sword, DM. okay. But I'm going to give it to this minion and advance it, DM. Okay. And then I'm absorbing that minion to myself to make myself stronger and attack them, DM. That's a bonus action. You've already used it. Shit! Oh, I got a haste pendant. I can cast one more add-on and switch that ability over. Okay, that works. That works good. Good. You're going to be stunned in 2 turns, though. That's fine. Wizard class. The DM's job feels much more like a rules administrator for the wizard at that point.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can play a wizard. I don't think I.
It's really funny. Like during combat, like I think my turns take the less, but to formulate my turns spends all of your guys' turns. Doing math, like what will work best. Okay, now this has changed. What?
Sometimes we get the situation where it's like, obviously he's going to use this spell, and it comes to your turn, and it's like, obviously I'm using this spell, and it works. Few situations, but there's so much variety for the wizard to be able to solve puzzles. Yeah. That's nice. A good example. Oh no, we're screwed. Now I'm just going to disintegrate it. Forget this one. It's a 7th level spell, but forget it. It's not worth it.
Flux like is going to die because we can't get her out? The problem's just got. Yep. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to cut the game here with us all sitting in front of the next area moving to go on. Mm-hmm. Flux, presently the reigning champion of arm wrestles for the party. That's a little
Flux
canyon.
Flux kicked ass today.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to be kind. I gave Bellamy a point of inspiration for doing the mosh pit. Since Flux won the arm wrestle, she gets a point of inspiration.
Oh, I already have one. Who needs inspiration?
I could.
Oh
no, if you want to take it, that's cool.
I'm fine with either. So.
Okay. John, even or odd?
Odd. I guess the odds were against me.
That pun was so bad. So bad.
Aaron, you can have that point of inspiration for the sheer audacity.
Thank you very much.
Oh. And that's my silver $2 word. I love it. Audacity. You know you've pissed one of my bad guys off when they say to you, the audacity. Because it's like one of my favorite words. Just pull it out of nowhere. So 10 points to Flux for that one. Unfortunately, I only give inspiration once, though.
That's fair.
Alrighty, everyone. Well, we'll pack it up, and we will catch back next week.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. All right. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Have a good one, guys.
Y'all have yourselves a great one.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.